Naruto. Opening choice of infinite chakra at the beginning. Chapter 61. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. You have to believe me, I'm really not a hooligan. Yi Fei put his hands together and bent his body to 90 degrees to bow. The girl looked at Yi Fei and listened to his explanation, but did not respond. Just because you say it's not, then it's not. Then show me what happened just now. I don't believe you didn't stop steadily. The girl looked at Yi Fei with his hands in front of him, and said angrily. Yi Fei slowly raised his body, but didn't know what to say. After all, it was him who didn't stop steadily just now. If that's the case, then what do you think we should do? Anyway, the fact is like this, I will not make any excuses. Yi Fei said confidently, pretending that he had done nothing wrong. The girl looked at Yi Fei and felt that he was not lying. Actually, it's nothing. If I just let you go, it would be a bargain for you. I don't know how to solve it yet. But judging from your appearance, you are probably not from our local area. The girl looked at Yi Fei carefully. Yes, I am not from here. This time I came so far because I had something to think about. I just regarded it as a trip. Yi Fei said everything about himself very seriously. The girl nodded and took Yi Fei to the side of the road. Since you are not from here, I won't bully you. Tell me, what's the matter? If you can't give me a reasonable explanation, then this matter will not be over. The girl looked at him with her head held high and her chest puffed out. Yi Fei felt that the girl's courage was very commendable. She was not afraid of anything in front of him. The reason is this. I had already heard that the chocolate here is very delicious, so I hurried over. I waited in line for a long time before it was my turn. But when I asked for chocolate, the boss told me that the last box had been bought by you. Yi Fei told him everything that had happened to him. And it was true. Then I'm even more curious. Won't you come back to buy it tomorrow? And why do you have to buy it today? Originally, this thing should belong to me. You should understand the principle of first come first served. The girl looked at Yi Fei and said in a bad tone. Yi Fei waved his hand hurriedly. No, you know I'm not from here. We may leave here tonight. And I have promised a friend of mine to bring her chocolates. If I don't give her any chocolate this time, she will be very disappointed in me. It will definitely be too late tomorrow. So I want to come to your place and give it a try with hope. Yi Fei hurriedly explained again. Although it was all true, the girl did not have the obligation to give the chocolate to Yi Fei. The girl looked at Yi Fei, and her sincere eyes seemed to understand something. So that's how it is. But it's still not enough to convince me. The reason is because you are a local. If I find myself being cheated in the future, where can I find you? The girl looked at Yi Fei and asked in confusion. Yi Fei seemed a little overwhelmed, but for the sake of chocolate, he had to speak. If you have any questions, you can come to Konoha village to find me. Whatever the consequences, I will bear them. So I beg you to give me the chocolate, and I will pay you. Yi Fei bowed again and said very humbly. The girl looked at Yi Fei and felt that he was very serious and didn't seem to be joking at all. Although they were about the same age, it was indeed not something that ordinary people could compare to have such an idea. Even if she couldn't buy the chocolate, the worst thing would be to tell a lie and go back and say that she didn't buy it. Even if that happened, it would only make her angry for a while, and nothing would happen later. Yi Fei's approach was completely different from what she thought. Although your attitude seems quite sincere, I am very reluctant to give the chocolate to you just like that. Chocolate is also a part of my life. I think you should understand this sentence very well. Yi Fei heard the girl's words accurately. Now he knew what the result was. It was impossible to buy chocolate, and the boss had sold out. He had just wasted a lot of time here, and even if he wanted to buy some other styles, he couldn't. Okay then, thank you anyway. Yi Fei bowed gently, then turned around and walked away slowly. This time he really had no choice. If the girl didn't want to exchange with him, he couldn't force her. Maybe on the way back, he would meet another village and buy some more chocolate. It's not only here. Yi Fei walked slowly on the road, not wanting to be disappointed, and his body was also very tired. Please wait a moment. Please wait a moment. The girl's voice reached Yi Fei's ears. After hearing the voice, he immediately stopped and turned around to look at the girl who was running towards him. Although he didn't know why she was looking for him, he still had to be polite. What's wrong? Yi Fei looked at the girl in front of him and asked curiously. The girl held her knees with both hands and gasped for breath. She calmed her breathing, then stood up and looked at Yi Fei. I just thought about it carefully. It was not easy for you to come to our place. As someone who has lived here for many years, you must be nicer to people outside. The girl said a lot of things in a confused manner. Yi Fei looked at the girl in front of him, who he had just met, and was a little curious. So what do you want from me? I just thought about it carefully and decided to give the chocolate to you. Anyway, I have been living in this place and can buy chocolate anytime. But you are different. Maybe it will take you a long time to come here again after you go back this time. So this thing is still very important to you. The girl took out her chocolate and said to Yi Fei with a smile. Yi Fei touched his ears in disbelief. The girl was very firm just now, but she didn't expect a big reversal. Is it really? Thank you so much. This time I can finally give Miu Miu an explanation when I go back. Yi Fei said very happily. He didn't expect that he would succeed this time. It doesn't matter. We'll have a chance to meet again in the future. Just like making a friend. You have become my first friend from another place. The girl put the chocolate in Yi Fei's hand and said happily. Yi Fei smiled. Nice to meet you, my name is Yi Fei. If I have the chance in the future, I will definitely bring my friends here to play. Yi Fei nodded and said. Hello Yi Fei, I am also very happy to meet you, my name is Qingtian. How is it? Is my name very good? My friends always say that they feel as happy as a sunny day when they play with me. The girl said with a smile. Yi Fei looked at the girl in front of him who was full of sunshine and vitality. It seemed that she saw that her smile brought a lot of happiness. Thanks to your help this time, I will definitely thank you in the future when I have the chance. Yi Fei took the chocolate in his hand and, okay, we'll see each other someday. As for this box of chocolates, I'll give it to you as a gift to celebrate our acquaintance. After the girl finished speaking, she happily ran to the side with her hands behind her back. I'll give you the money next time we meet. Sunny Day is a really good name. Yi Fei looked at the girl's back, and then looked at the chocolate in his hand. This time he finally completed his task. Not only did he choose a gift, but he also bought a heart-shaped chocolate. This was really good news for him. After returning, Miu Miu will definitely be very happy. And this chocolate is also very much in line with her favorite flavor. Yi Fei has never been so concerned about anyone. Miu Miu's appearance is a very big turning point for him. No matter when, he can always think of Miu Miu's figure in his mind. He will dream about her even in his dreams. It's getting late, hurry up and meet them. I don't know, have they gathered at the designated location now? It is also possible that they are still playing. Yi Fei put the chocolate in his backpack, and then looked ahead and thought silently. It was almost time for them to gather. They had originally planned to have a good time here for a few days, but found that there was nothing else to do here except shopping. Those very famous places could not be visited now. It was said that there was no way because of the special period. After they heard the news, they could only go home. It seems that God is helping me. I thought it would take a long time to get back home. This way I can go home early, I am really happy. A day is about. I'll be able to see Miu Miu in a day. Yi Fei walked towards the gathering place. Time passed slowly, and they all gathered together. They all bought a lot of things, and their backpacks were full. It seems like you guys bought a lot of things. Did you bring enough money this time? Yi Fei asked curiously as he looked at their full backpacks. Brother Panda, to be honest, every time we go out on a mission, we always prepare sufficient funds. This way you can shop, play and eat well in a new place. This time it's all my fault for not reminding you. I believe you will bring enough money next time. Old Cat put his arm on Yi Fei's shoulder and said with a smile. Yi Fei once again felt that this team was completely different from other teams. Really, I didn't expect you all have such experience. It seems that I have to think about it too. Yi Fei felt very incredible. Although such a team is very strong, it always gives him some surprises every time it comes out. To be precise, it should be a shock. This time they already knew what kind of place this is. And they have been here before, so they must know what fun and delicious things there are here. Alas, there is no way, our team is the happiest. If you want to join a team with many tasks and no fun, there is a way. But if you really want to, I can do it for you. Old Cat made a very indifferent gesture, and then whispered. Yi Fei thought about it carefully. Although this team is a little different from what he thought, he can still feel very happy here. Who asked you to come? I haven't said anything yet, but you want to drive me away. In this case, I will stay here reluctantly. It's just right to continue to annoy you. Yi Fei made a face at the old cat, and then said with a grin. The other people laughed at this time. Such a team, such an atmosphere, is really fun. Cough cough. Okay, stop arguing, it's getting late, let's hurry up and get started. The sooner you leave, the sooner you get home. Yan Wang coughed a few times and then said to them. Understood. Yi Fei and others said loudly immediately. After everyone was ready, they embarked on the journey home together. They completed the mission very well this time, and also went shopping, bought things, and had meals here. Except for Yi Fei, everyone else bought a lot of things, so the speed on the way back was relatively slow. Why are you so slow? It seems to be because of what you bought. I told you not to buy so many things, but you didn't listen. Or do you have money? Yi Fei said to them loudly with a look of disdain. Oh my god, this little fool seems to have completely integrated into our team. To celebrate for him, let's have a welcome ceremony for him. Old Cat said happily to his former team members. Everyone smiled and nodded. But when Yi Fei saw the looks of them, he instantly felt that something was wrong. And they probably didn't have any good plans. I think you guys are just too boring. So if you want to make fun of me, I won't be fooled. I'll go first. Yi Fei took the lead and rushed forward at the fastest speed, leaving them far behind. This little fool runs pretty fast. This time it's not because of my acting skills. I felt that I acted very well. It must be Black Panther. He always laughs the most awkwardly and weirdly. The old cat stopped and started to complain. I didn't. I think my smile just now was the best looking one. Black Panther said unconvincedly, but no one believed him. Everyone smiled at this time. Okay, stop making trouble and hurry up. The panda guy runs pretty fast. Let's hurry up and catch up with him. We can't let him look down on us. Yan Wang said to the few people who were laughing and playing. Everyone started running again, running towards Yi Fei. Yi Fei turned around and looked behind him, but no one followed him. Their speed is really too slow. Is this the difference between the protagonist and the NPC? There is no other way, let's wait for them in front. Yi Fei looked at the situation ahead and said in a low voice. He quickened his pace and came to an open space. The view from this place is very good, and you can see everything around very clearly. It couldn't be better to rest here. Here it is. Why haven't they come yet? Yi Fei sat down on a rock, looking at the direction he had just come from with great curiosity. Yi Fei knew the strength of Yan Wang and his men, but he didn't dare to guarantee their speed. I can't go back to find them now. It's better to wait for them here. Finally, Yi Fei decided to rest here and wait for them. This way, he can also recover his strength. It's really boring. If there were cars and planes at this time, it would save a lot of time. But this is all nonsense. Electric trains came later. If I can hold on until then, I will be a middle-aged man in my 40s or 50s. Yi Fei thought to himself while lying on a huge rock and looking up at the sky. And the premise must be that he can hold on until then. There are many very famous battles among them. If the strength is not strong enough, it is very likely that you will be wiped out by the enemy. The reward for this mission is favorability. I think it is much better than those rewards. If there is a benefit, don't be a fool. Yi Fei said with a smile while looking at the starry sky. And now he really wants to know what this favorability can make Miu Miu become. Anyway, it can't be achieved in one step, so take it slowly, which is also what Yi Fei hopes very much. It seems that if I have such a choice again in the future, I must choose this one. For a straight man like me, this is simply a super powerful cheat. Yi Fei smiled, but his ears seemed to hear some movement. And it came from all directions. He thought it was an animal, but there were too many of them, so he immediately became alert. It seems that this place is not as peaceful as I imagined. Yi Fei immediately began to observe the surroundings, and then thought silently in his heart. He slowly took out his weapon. He was not sure what the other party was. It could be a pack of wolves, or it could be an enemy, or even other creatures. This is trouble. Judging from the sound, there should be quite a few of them. And Captain, they haven't arrived yet. If I fight them head on, I don't know how long I can hold out. Yi Fei carefully hid behind a rock. The enemy had not appeared yet, and it was very dark around, so it was possible that they had not discovered Yi Fei. After hiding, he began to listen carefully to the movements around him. Waves of whispers reached his ears. Now he was sure that these were not animals, but people. This was finally much easier. If it was a pack of wolves, they would be very aggressive, and they would not stop until they killed their prey. If it was an ordinary human, it would be much easier. Although they were strong and weak, if they saw someone stronger than themselves, they would choose to run away at the first time. It seems that I can't act rashly now, and they may not have discovered me. Yi Fei hid in the dark and held the weapon in his hand tightly. The enemy has now come out of the bushes, and all of them are holding a long knife. They are wearing masks and observing everything around them, as if looking for prey. The enemy walked slowly towards Yi Fei step by step. Yi Fei heard the footsteps getting closer and closer to him, and his heartbeat gradually accelerated. Just now he judged that there were about 20 enemies this time. If he fought with the enemy, although there was a high probability of victory, he would definitely suffer a lot of damage. God bless you. They will definitely not come here. Yi Fei closed his eyes and listened carefully to the sound of the enemy's footsteps. Although he was lying to himself, he still hoped that this would happen. More than 20 enemies all walked forward cautiously with weapons in hand. They seemed to have found their favorite prey, but they had no idea that Yi Fei was behind the stone in front. The footsteps were getting closer and closer. The enemy was only a dozen steps away from Yi Fei at this time. What is coming will come. I can't hide anymore. Yi Fei gritted his teeth and took out a lot of detonating talismans from his backpack. He tied the detonating talismans and shuriken together. After determining the enemy's approximate position, he rushed out from behind the stone in an instant. Die. The moment he rushed out, he threw the shuriken in his hands in different directions. The sudden appearance of Yi Fei also scared the enemy. But their reaction was also very fast, and most of them dodged Yi Fei's attack in the first time. They couldn't laugh in 1 second. Explode. Yi Fei stood firmly on the ground and looked at them and said loudly. Bang, bang, bang. The explosions rang out, and the whole forest was also splashed with flames. The number of enemies was reduced to a dozen at once. Yi Fei looked at the remaining enemies and finally decided to use a sneak attack. Everyone gathered together with their backs to back. This kid is not easy to deal with. The leading enemy suddenly shouted loudly. After hearing the order, all the enemies stood back to back, took out their weapons and looked forward. Yi Fei appeared on a big tree, and then squinted his eyes to observe the enemies on the ground. I didn't expect them to react so quickly. It seems that they are not ordinary ninjas. Yi Fei thought with some surprise. But no matter what, he was in trouble now. He had to get rid of all these enemies. Yan Wang and his men suddenly stopped because they heard the explosion just now, and it was not far away from them. It seems that the panda is in danger ahead. Everyone speed up. After that, everyone increased their speed and rushed forward. Yi Fei looked at the enemy's reaction and did not dare to act rashly. If you want to launch a sneak attack, you must find a suitable time. Only in this way can you be sure of success. The enemies were back to back in pairs, but some were alone and looked a little lonely. In order to have someone to rely on behind them, they actually leaned their backs against the big tree. After seeing the enemy's operation, Yi Fei's mouth corners slightly raised. Now there is a breakthrough. Have you given up your back now? Do you think the tree can block everything? It's really too fantastic, Yi Fei said with a smile. The enemies have been observing the surroundings very carefully at this moment. They don't know Yi Fei's strength, so they are very careful. Yi Fei saw the opportunity and instantly came to the top of the enemy who was leaning against the tree. The so-called sneak attack must not let them know where they are. Yi Fei descended very carefully. When he approached the enemy, he stretched out his hands and covered his mouth. He used a kunai to cut his neck. Without making any sound, the enemy was already dead. Yi Fei slowly put the body on the ground. Didn't find me. This will make things much easier. Yi Fei looked at the remaining enemies and thought silently. In an instant, all the lone enemies were knocked down one by him. And those enemies did not notice any changes. What should we do next? Every 2 people are together. It is really a problem that we cannot deal with them at the same time. Yi Fei hid in the dark and watched the enemy's every move. Although there was no other way, he could only attack violently. The enemy still did not feel the change in his number. Where is that kid? Why is there no sound at all? Has he escaped? One of the enemies said doubtfully while looking around. Don't be careless, this guy is definitely not a good person. Our danger is not over yet. The leading enemy whispered to his men. Yi Fei watched the enemy's every move and did not dare to act rashly. Besides, Yan Wang and his men had not come here yet. At this time, he still had to rely on himself. No matter what, I have to go. Hurry up and get rid of them. Yi Fei slowly took out his short knife, then looked at the enemy. He rushed forward in 1 step. Before the enemy could react, Yi Fei's knife pierced his chest directly. Not good. Another enemy behind him shouted loudly. This weapon, I should have fixed it earlier. Yi Fei pulled out his weapon and looked at the other enemy who was fleeing in a hurry. Because his weapon was only half broken, he couldn't penetrate both of them just now. After hearing his companions shout, the enemy immediately turned his attention to this side. Let's fight. Yi Fei had just carefully dealt with several enemies, and now there were only 7 or 8 left. This number was not difficult for him to deal with. Wind style. Vacuum jade. He formed seals with his hands and spit out all the chakra in his mouth. Because it was too dark around, the enemy had no way of seeing the direction of the attack. One after another, they fell down. Good. Just like that, we did it in one go. Yi Fei took advantage of the enemy's lack of reaction and rushed forward with his weapon. The enemy also panicked and kept firing weapons around. Several of his companions were already covered in wounds. It's you. Yi Fei picked an enemy and immediately came in front of him and punched him on the chin. Bang! The enemy was knocked flying with 1 punch. Then he quickly aimed the knife upwards. The free-falling enemy hit the knife directly. Blood instantly sprayed all over Yi Fei's face, or more precisely, on his mask. Shit, I'm so unlucky. Yi Fei pulled out his weapon and looked at the other enemies. After seeing Yi Fei, the enemies rushed up in a swarm. Although there were few of them, they were very powerful. Wind style. Vacuum jade. Yi Fei once again formed seals with his hands, and then spit out all the chakra in his mouth. The enemies also reacted accordingly this time, almost dodging the attack. What? This is not going to be easy. Yi Fei was a little flustered when he saw that no enemy died under his ninjutsu. But he soon regained his composure. He took out his kunai with excellent aim and quickly fired all of them. Pew pew pew. They fell one after another. Now there was only 1 enemy left on the field. Looking at his companions, his legs kept shaking. The last enemy was their captain. Although he was slightly stronger, he would still be a little scared when he saw such a scene. What's more, the other party was just a child. I will fight you to the death. The enemy shouted angrily. Earth escape. The enemy put down his weapon and formed a seal with his hands, then pressed his hands to the ground. The ground began to shake violently, and many cracks appeared. Not good, this is definitely not an ordinary ninjutsu. Yi Fei felt the vibration brought by the earth and said in disbelief. After the cracks appeared, many clods of earth began to surge like waves. One after another, they flew towards Yi Fei. Seeing so many large clods of earth flying towards him, he immediately raised his weapon and began to disperse them. Bang, bang, bang. One by one, although it was a Benji sword, its power was not weakened at all. The sharpness was very optimistic. This is not a solution. We can't keep on being stuck like this. Yi Fei thought silently in his heart while resisting the attack. Now the only thing he can do is to evacuate here instantly and then go behind the enemy. At present, this is the only way to do it. After all the clods of earth were scattered, Yi Fei looked at the gap. Flying Thunder God technique. His body instantly disappeared from the spot and appeared behind the enemy. At this time, the enemy didn't know what happened and looked confused. And his hands were still on the ground. If he found Yi Fei, he would immediately transfer his attack direction to him. I don't know where you were looking at, Yi Fei suddenly said coldly. Hearing the voice coming from behind him, he was also startled. The enemy reacted quickly and turned around. But before he could turn around completely, a very deep wound appeared on his neck. And blood spurted out all of a sudden. Woo woo woo. The enemy's two hands wrapped around his neck, trying to stop the blood from gushing out. But it was obvious that this was useless, and the blood flowed directly from between his fingers. Why is this necessary? Yi Fei kicked him to the ground and wiped his knife back and forth on the enemy's body. It really took me some time to deal with you. I thought you were all very strong, but now it seems I was wrong. But it won't take long now, Yi Fei said with a smile while looking at the glittering blade. The enemy had died in a pool of blood due to excessive bleeding. He looked around at the corpses. He shook his head gently. It was time to bury the bodies again. It's really troublesome. This is what you need to do every time. Yi Fei shook his head helplessly, but then he started his work. The bodies were buried one after another. Although his hands were stained with blood, at least he had completed his work. Finally it's done. I don't know where they are going with so many enemies. I should have left one alive. Yi Fei looked at the soil he had turned over and wiped the sweat off his head. After finishing his work, he came to the stone again. I'm really too used to it. Where are those people? Could it be that they got lost? Impossible. The thought of getting lost suddenly popped up in Yi Fei's mind. Although it is very likely that this is not the case, it is not ruled out. After about 2 or 3 minutes, Yan Wang and his men finally appeared in Yi Fei's sight. Moreover, everyone was covered in dust and had a lot of weeds and leaves on their bodies. Captain, where did you go just now? Did they get lost? Yi Fei immediately came to them and asked. Don't mention it, I was just so unlucky. By the way, you were the one who made the explosion just now, right? The old cat looked impatient and patted the leaves on his body. Yi Fei nodded. He told them what he had just experienced. Although many details were not mentioned, they all understood roughly. I really didn't expect that we would encounter the enemy on our way back. It seems that we must be more careful in the future. The King of Hell looked at the disturbed land. Oh, you haven't told me what you went through. And seeing how embarrassed you are, it must not be a good thing. Yi Fei asked curiously. Yan Wang and the others also sighed. Although they didn't want to tell others what happened just now, they had no choice. We just heard the explosion and ran forward. But who knew that I had touched the trap? A very large net that caught us all. Later, the net left us in a quagmire again. No, it should be a swamp, Old Cat said angrily. Although they were all very angry, they had no choice. After all, they didn't know which hunter had set the trap here. And it was difficult to detect the trap at night. Ha ha, you guys are really lucky. If I'm not mistaken, we are heading in the same direction. How come you hit the trap but I didn't? Yi Fei looked at their dusty faces and gloated over their misfortune. Yan Wang and the others didn't say anything. It was indeed their bad luck. Yi Fei had already been in front of them and had explored the way for them. When they came over, they still hit the trap, which fully proved that they were not very lucky. There is no other way. This is the only way now. There shouldn't be any danger here. Let's take a rest here. Yi Fei, you come to stand guard. You just gloated over the misfortune. Yan Wang looked at Yi Fei and said angrily. Oh. Yi Fei, who was originally gloating, suddenly wilted. I really didn't expect to encounter the enemy here. I heard from Panda that there are quite a few people. I wonder where they are going to fight. Yan Wang found a place to sit down. The others also gathered in a circle. Yi Fei stood on a very high stone and observed the surroundings. He had just experienced a battle, and now he was not sure whether the surroundings were safe. Unexpectedly, they fell into a trap. This is really unexpected. It is said that they are all quite strong and each of them has a weapon in his hand. Can a net trap them? Yi Fei suddenly thought about what the King of Hell had just said. He felt that something seemed to be different. Captain, are you sure that the net is an ordinary rope net? Yi Fei asked loudly with great curiosity. Yan Wang shook his head. When we were trapped just now, we used weapons to attack. But it was useless. It shouldn't be an ordinary rope. Yan Wang thought about it carefully and said. Yi Fei nodded. It seems that there are hunters around here, and the equipment they use is also very good. Captain, you must be more careful next time. This time we were lucky. There were no bamboo traps or anything like that. Otherwise, you guys would have been injured a long time ago. Yi Fei was very concerned about them. Several people blushed. They were all older than Yi Fei. But this time they were unlucky. This really didn't make sense. Maybe Yi Fei's luck was really good. There shouldn't be any danger on the road ahead. And now I feel like I can easily beat 20 of them. Yi Fei clenched his fists and said arrogantly. Although he was very confident in his own strength, if he met a strong person, he still had no way to deal with him. Even running away became a problem. Although he had the Flying Thunder God technique, in the face of absolute strength, these were all illusory. It seems that I must hurry up and become stronger. Otherwise, the days ahead will be difficult. Yi Fei loosened his palms again. Looking at his hands, he didn't know what he was thinking. Okay, it's time to rest, let's hurry up and get going. This time it took a long time. Yan Wang stood up and said to them. After packing up their things, they set out on the road home again. In contrast, there was no enemy blocking this road. It took them almost a day to return to Konoha village. After returning, they went back home to rest. After running for a day and a night, they were already very tired. After returning home, everyone lay on the bed and fell asleep. Except for Yi Fei. Great, I'm finally home. I should hurry up and pack up and go find Miu Miu. I guess she can't wait any longer. The first thing Yi Fei did after returning home was to clean himself. He was too dirty, and the mask was covered in blood. When he was washing his clothes, he found many small cuts on it. Really, I fought so many times and didn't even mend my clothes. Looks like it needs some repairing. Otherwise, it would be too ugly to wear. Yi Fei went to the room and found the needle and thread. This kind of work was really a piece of cake for him. Although he was a boy, he had lived on his own for a long time and was quite skilled in these basic operations. Not long after, his clothes became brand new again. There was no trace of mending at all. I really admire myself. My craftsmanship is so good. Yi Fei said happily as he picked up the clothes he had mended. He would say this to himself every time he mended clothes. This is also what his mother always said to him. Although she has long passed away, Yi Fei still keeps this sentence in his heart. Okay, hurry up and find Miu Miu. Yi Fei packed his clothes and said with a smile. He took the bracelet and chocolate he bought and walked out of the house. The air in Konoha is really very good, and it's still so familiar. Yi Fei said with a smile as he stood on the street. Such good air can only be found in Konoha. Looking at the things he bought, Yi Fei smiled. Now is the right time, hurry up and go. Yi Fei looked up at the sky and said with a smile. He raised his feet and walked forward. He was in a very good mood at this time. The temperature and weather were just right. It was also very suitable for a date at this time. Dong dong dong. Yi Fei came to Miu Miu's door and knocked gently on the door. Who is it? It's here. A few seconds later, Miu Miu's voice came from the yard. Yi Fei smiled happily after hearing Miu Miu's voice. It's me, Yi Fei. A few seconds later, the door slowly opened, revealing Miu Miu's head. Ah Fei, you are back. Miu Miu said happily as he looked at Yi Fei who appeared in front of him. Yi Fei smiled and nodded. I just came back and couldn't wait to come to see you. Miu Miu smiled and nodded. Please wait for me, I'll get something and we'll go out. Yi Fei nodded, and then watched her run to the room. Standing there waiting for her, after seeing Miu Miu, his mood also became very good. And the waiting time was not very boring. Where should we go next time? If I'm not mistaken, it must be a date. In this case, you must choose a suitable place for a date. I don't go out often, I'm lying down, I don't know where to go. Yi Fei was a little distressed. He had lived alone for a long time and didn't have that much time to go out. Even if he went out, he would just buy some things and go home. Now he had to find a suitable place for a date. After thinking about it, he only thought of a park. There were many chairs in the park, and they could have a good rest there. It was nice to sit together, eat chocolate and chat. That's decided. The park is where we will meet today. Yi Fei said softly with a smile on his face. Miu Miu took some things from the room and ran out. He closed the door and came to Yi Fei's side. Ah Fei, sorry to have kept you waiting. Miu Miu said with a smile. It doesn't matter. If you want to say that I've been waiting for a long time, it's me who should say it. After all, it took so long to come back this time. Yi Fei said a little embarrassedly. Miu Miu shook her head. She knew that as an Anbu, every time she went out on a mission, her life would be in danger. Although she wanted Yi Fei to come back earlier, she wanted him to come back safely. It's okay, as long as we can get back safely. Then let's hurry up and get out. I also prepared a gift for you. I don't know if you will like it. Miu Miu blushed and lowered her head. Yi Fei felt very happy when he heard that Miu Miu had prepared a gift for him. Really, that's great. This is the first time I have received a gift from someone else. As long as it is from you, I will like it no matter what it is. Yi Fei said very happily. Miu Miu nodded with a red face. Then the two of them walked side by side on the road, heading towards the park. There were almost no people in the park at this time. This would also allow the two of them to have a good date. It's really great. There aren't many people at this time. This way I won't be disturbed. Yi Fei walked to the entrance of the park and looked inside, then thought happily. Miu Miu looked at the park and his face turned redder than before. At the same time, Yi Fei also noticed that Miu Miu's face turned redder than before. Come on, let's go in. After all, this is my first time, and I can't think of any good places. Yi Fei felt a little embarrassed. Miu Miu nodded softly without saying anything. Then the two of them walked in together. The temperature was a little low now, and there were not many people here, so it was a little deserted. Let's go sit in front and talk for a while. Oh, I almost forgot. I also brought you a gift, I hope you like it. Yi Fei suddenly touched the gift in his backpack and whispered. Miu Miu was a little surprised. Isn't he going to carry out the mission? How can he have time to bring me a gift? Okay, let's go to the front and exchange gifts. Miu Miu said happily. Yi Fei smiled and nodded. The two of them came to the front and found a place to sit down. The breeze blew, and the two of them sat on the chairs without saying anything. This was also their first date. It was obvious that they had no experience. And they didn't know what to say. Hey, Miu Miu, this is my gift for you. Yi Fei took out the things he bought and put them in her hands. Miu Miu looked at the gift and was a little surprised. It was a beautifully wrapped gift box and a piece of white chocolate that she really liked. Thank you very much, Fei. I like the gift you gave me very much, especially this chocolate. Miu Miu turned around and looked at Yi Fei and said softly. Yi Fei smiled. Hurry up and open the other one. Miu Miu nodded, then carefully opened the gift and saw the bracelet inside. Wow, so beautiful, it's sparkling, Miu Miu said lovingly as she took the bracelet in her hand. After seeing his performance, Yi Fei was already very happy. Although she couldn't buy a particularly good one, at least this one could make her like it. I went there in a hurry this time, so I didn't bring enough money. I will definitely buy you something better when I have the chance in the future. Yi Fei said to the old man a little embarrassed. Miu Miu smiled and shook his head gently. No, I like both of these things very much. Thank you, Fei. Miu Miu said with a smile. After that, he put the bracelet on his hand and started to watch it, smiling all the time. Yi Fei smiled. This result was his favorite and what he wanted most. Ah Fei, this is my gift to you. I don't know what you like, I hope you like it. Miu Miu immediately handed the gift next to him to Yi Fei. Yi Fei was flattered and was looking forward to what his gift would be. This was also the first time he received a gift from someone else. He was obviously a little overwhelmed. Yi Fei looked at the gift box in his hand for a long time without opening it. Ah Fei, what's wrong? Miu Miu looked at Yi Fei and asked curiously. Yi Fei smiled and shook his head. It's nothing. This is the first time I've received a gift from someone else. I'm a little overwhelmed. And now I don't know whether I should open it or not. Yi Fei said awkwardly. Miu Miu smiled. So that's how it is. When we received a gift for the first time, our reactions were quite different. I remember I was so happy when I first received the gift. And I couldn't wait to open it. Miu Miu thought about his childhood carefully, and then said with a smile. Yi Fei nodded, now he was ready to open the gift. He took a deep breath, looked at the gift box in his hand, and slowly tore open the package. So nervous. Anyway, I still want to thank you. Yi Fei opened the gift and looked inside. A very beautiful necklace was lying inside. Yi Fei was very excited at the moment. He picked up the necklace with both hands and began to observe it carefully. This necklace is still very special. There is a very delicate, diamond-shaped crystal pendant. The rope is just an ordinary rope. It's really beautiful. This is the first time in my life that I have received such a beautiful gift. I can't express my feelings in words now. Yi Fei was very excited. After seeing Yi Fei's performance, Miu Miu also smiled happily. When choosing a gift, she was very afraid that Yi Fei would not like it. But now it seems that there is no need for that. Thank you very much. This gift means a lot to me, and I like it very much. Yi Fei said with a smile, but his eyes were always on the necklace. Miu Miu nodded. I like it. Come on, try it on. Yi Fei nodded gently, and then slowly put the necklace on his neck. At first, he was still a little uncomfortable. After all, he was not used to wearing necklaces. It's really great. I will definitely cherish it. Yi Fei turned to look at Miu Miu. Both of them were very happy. Today, they both received gifts from each other. And they both liked them very much. I'm glad you like it. I was very scared until I heard you like it. Now it's finally okay. I like the gift you gave me very much. I didn't expect that she would think of bringing me a gift when she went out on a mission. Miu Miu was very happy looking at the white chocolate in her hand. As long as you like it, no matter how many times you go out, I will bring you gifts. As long as you are happy, it doesn't matter. Yi Fei turned on his flirting function. He never knew that he would talk like this before. Maybe it was because no girl approached him. Of course, he would not take the initiative to approach any girl. Ah Fei, how was the mission this time? Have you encountered anything special? I want to hear about it. Although I know your rules, I still really want to listen. Don't worry, I will never let anyone know. If it's not possible, forget it. Miu Miu put his hands together and said softly. Yi Fei shook his head. It's okay, there's nothing to hide. And I believe you will never tell anyone. This time it is really interesting. At the same time, there is a certain degree of danger. For a while, the two of them talked and laughed. And Yi Fei told him the whole process of the mission in detail. Of course, he didn't mention the incident of accidentally knocking the girl down. Although Yi Fei didn't know how Miu Miu viewed him, it was better not to talk about these things. In order to avoid some unnecessary misunderstandings. Really, I didn't expect that your mission would be so interesting. Now I want to go out with you to carry out the mission. Miu Miu has already simulated the scene of carrying out the mission in his mind. It's a pity that he is still in school and can't go with Yi Fei. And his own strength is also very weak. It's okay, I can wait until you graduate. I can also teach you some ninjutsu. That way your strength can be improved. Then you can come to our Anbu, and we can carry out the mission together. I believe it will be very interesting. Yi Fei looked at her and thought about it carefully, then said. Miu Miu smiled and nodded happily. She really wanted to go out with Yi Fei to carry out the mission. To be precise, she wanted to stay with Yi Fei. The relationship between the two of them was gradually heating up. Last time, he also gained favorability, and Yi Fei felt it was pretty good. After all, it was a very happy thing to have such a girl by his side all the time. Then it's settled. You must wait for me. Then we can stay together and go out on missions. Now I have imagined the scene in my mind. Miu Miu blushed slightly. Yi Fei gently touched his ears. He was also a little surprised to hear that they had been together. I didn't expect that favorability is so important. It seems that I must practice it well in the future. Go to more places, and you can touch more options. Yi Fei thought to himself as he looked at Miu Miu. The two of them sat on a chair in the park and talked for a long time. During this time, they both smiled. Both of them thought that being with each other was very happy, and there was no trouble at all. Ah Fei, eat chocolate. No, the chocolate I want you to bring back is still heart-shaped. I really didn't expect this. Miu Miu opened the chocolate box and looked inside. Yi Fei scratched his head and didn't know what to say. Buying heart-shaped chocolates was also required for the task. If he was asked to buy them himself, he definitely couldn't give a heart-shaped gift for the first time. I don't know what it tastes like, so let's try it. When I was choosing chocolate, I bought some that were not so sweet. Yi Fei said with a smile while looking at the chocolate. Miu Miu nodded, then carefully picked up a piece of chocolate. I have to say, the shape is really cute. Now I want to taste it carefully. Miu Miu put the chocolate in his mouth and bit off a small piece. His mouth moved and he began to taste it. Yummy. It's exactly the same as what I had before, just the right sweetness. Even if you eat too much, you won't feel sick. Miu Miu chewed the chocolate and turned to look at Yi Fei. Then he picked up a piece of chocolate and gave it to Yi Fei. You should try it soon. Believe me, it's really delicious. Miu Miu looked at Yi Fei and said confidently. Yi Fei had never eaten chocolate that was not very sweet. The ones he had eaten before were not particularly sweet, but very sweet. Okay, I'll try it too. Yi Fei put the chocolate in his mouth and started to taste it. The result was exactly the same as what Miu Miu had just said. I really didn't expect this kind of chocolate to be so delicious. Yi Fei felt very incredible, but there was no way to deny the fact. Miu Miu heard what he just said and nodded with satisfaction. Let's go for a walk. It's a bit uncomfortable to sit here all the time. Yi Fei suddenly turned his head and looked at her. Miu Miu nodded, then put the chocolates in the box. The two walked side by side in the park. At this moment, they both felt very sweet. Even the surrounding style changed. It seemed that in their eyes, they were the happiest and most cheerful ones. This park is quite large, and taking a walk here is indeed a very good idea. Ah Fei, can you promise me one thing? Miu Miu suddenly said in a low voice. What is it? Yi Fei asked curiously. It means that no matter what mission you carry out in the future, you will return home safely. Never try to be brave against an enemy you cannot defeat. Your own life is the most important. So I want you to promise me that no matter what danger you encounter, you must survive. Miu Miu's eyes were slightly moist, and he said very seriously. Yi Fei saw the moist eyes, and his heart skipped a beat. He swallowed and nodded. I promise you, don't worry, I will definitely return home safely. No matter what kind of situation I encounter, I will put my life first. Yi Fei also answered very seriously. Miu Miu nodded gently. Yi Fei is very important to her, and it seems that he has become an indispensable person in his life. In this way, the two of them walked in the park again. Yi Fei looked at Miu Miu quietly. I don't know since when, he has regarded Miu Miu as a very important part of his life. No matter what time, he doesn't want her to be hurt. Maybe this idea came into his mind when he saw Miu Miu for the first time. Although he is still a child, he seems to grow up very quickly in this world. Miu Miu, I don't know why, but every time I see you, I feel very at ease. And I had a special feeling when I first saw you. I don't know what it is exactly. Yi Fei suddenly stopped and touched his heart. Miu Miu turned to look at him and gently touched her hair. Ah Fei, I feel the same way. I am always very happy with you. And I never have any worries. Maybe this is the magic between us. Miu Miu bent down gently, then looked at Yi Fei and said with a smile. Yi Fei's eyes lit up, as if he saw a fairy descending to the earth. After living for so long, this was the first time he had such a feeling. Time passed slowly, and the two of them took a long walk in the park. Happy times are always very short. In the blink of an eye, it was already evening, and both of them were very hungry. Now they walked out of the park and started looking for a place to eat. After dinner, it was time to separate. Yi Fei really wanted time to pass more slowly, only in this way could he stay with Miu Miu for a while longer. What should we eat in the evening? By the way, I suddenly remembered what I ate outside. There are many things we don't have here. I will definitely take you out if I have the chance in the future to see the outside world and eat some food outside. Yi Fei walked beside Miu Miu and said with a smile. Miu Miu nodded. Okay, let's make it a deal, we'll start training tomorrow. I don't have to go to school tomorrow. You can teach me ninjutsu. This way I can graduate quickly. The two reached an agreement. They walked forward and soon found something they really wanted to eat. Why don't we just eat octopus balls? Octopus balls are one of my favorite foods. I remember that I would buy this to eat every day after school. Miu Miu said happily as he looked at the octopus balls being sold in front of him. Yi Fei nodded. He hadn't eaten octopus balls for a long time. The two reached an agreement again. After confirming it, They quickened their pace and came to the store selling octopus balls. It smells so good. You can tell its taste just by smelling it. Miu Miu closed his eyes and said with a smile. Yi Fei nodded. There weren't many people here. He came to the boss and stretched out his 2 fingers. Boss, give me 2. After getting the response, I stood by and started waiting. I'm really looking forward to it. And I didn't eat much today. Wait a minute, I have to take good care of my stomach. Miu Miu asked and touched her hungry stomach. Yi Fei smiled. This was the first time he met such a cute girl. The 2 stood by the octopus ball shop and waited for a while. 2 octopus balls came into their hands. They were steaming hot, with some small decorations on them. The very bright luster made people very hungry. Without saying much nonsense, they found a place to sit down and started to eat with big mouthfuls. After taking a bite, the satisfaction came out all at once. It's really delicious. It tastes better than anything I've eaten before. Miu Miu swung her legs together, and she looked very cute. Yi Fei looked at her and smiled like an ant. It's okay as long as it tastes good. Eat it quickly. If it gets cold, it won't taste good. If you're not full after eating, I'll buy you more. Don't worry, this box is enough for me. Besides, it's getting late now, so I can't eat so much. Otherwise, I'll get fat. After saying that, Miu Miu put another octopus ball in her mouth. From her expression, it can be seen that she is very satisfied. Yi Fei felt a pleasure he had never had before. It was also a special feeling to watch such a cute girl eating. I am really happy today. It seems to be the happiest day since coming to this world. Yi Fei looked up at the night sky, and then thought silently in his heart. Just as he said, today is a very happy day. After eating, the 2 of them wiped their mouths with paper in tacit understanding. Now it's time to separate. They have been out for a day and must go home to sleep. But it is obvious that both of them are very reluctant to leave. Miu Miu, it's getting late. Let's hurry home. Otherwise, your family will be worried. Yi Fei stood up and looked at Miu Miu. Miu Miu hesitated for a moment, then nodded. Ah Fei, can you take me home? I don't know if you can agree to such a small request. Miu Miu lowered his head a little embarrassedly. Option A. Send her home, completion reward, lightning escape, attached to thunder. Option B. Reject her and say you will do it next time. Completion reward, favorability decreases. Option C. Send her home, but tell her not to do this again. Completion reward, charm attribute +1. The system's voice came from Yi Fei's mind. Looking at the options in his mind, he had already made a clear choice. Yi Fei smiled and nodded. Okay, no problem. I was planning to take you home. It's so late now, I won't feel comfortable letting you go home alone. I still remember the scene when we first met. Yi Fei looked at Miu Miu and said with a smile. Miu Miu showed a very happy smile. At this moment, it seemed as if the whole world belonged to her. She jumped forward happily. Seeing such a lively and cheerful girl, Yi Fei was already very happy in his heart. The 2 walked side by side on the dimly lit street. Yi Fei walked outside and let Miu Miu walk inside. This section of the road seemed very short. In a blink of an eye, they arrived at the door of Miu Miu's house. I'm here, Fei. Thank you so much. I am very happy today. Standing at the door of the house, Miu Miu looked at Yi Fei and said with a smile. I am also very happy. After such a long time, today is really a good day. I hope we can keep going like this, Yi Fei said with a smile. Miu Miu nodded, looked around, found no one, and suddenly kissed him on the cheek. I don't know how to express it, I'm very happy today. Consider this as another gift from me to you. Miu Miu blushed slightly, and put her hands behind her back. Yi Fei stood there, his eyes blank, savoring the kiss in his heart. Miu Miu, thank you so much. You made me feel something I've never felt before. I don't know why, but I seem to like you more and more. I know I'm not very good at speaking, but it seems like these are not a problem around you. Yi Fei said softly after coming to his senses. Miu Miu was a little embarrassed, but shook his head gently. It doesn't matter, there are still many days to come. And I like you very much too. The 2 looked into each other's eyes, their heartbeats gradually speeding up. Okay, I'm going home. By the way, let me tell you a little secret. Miu Miu slowly put his mouth close to Yi Fei's ear. This is the first time I kissed a boy. After saying that, he immediately ran home. Yi Fei was stunned and couldn't believe what had just happened. After living for so long, my luck in love finally came. After 30 years, I was finally kissed by a girl. This feeling is really amazing. I didn't expect to meet my love in my 30s. Yi Fei touched his face happily. After standing there for more than 10 seconds, he turned around and walked in the direction he was heading. Ding, mission completed, rewards are being merged. Today is really a special day for him. The two of them just made it clear what they think now. Such a relationship is really enviable. After returning home, Yi Fei came to the bed and lay down. He kept thinking about everything that happened today, and his heart was very excited and couldn't calm down for a long time. He didn't miss any details, especially the kiss he was given. That feeling kept coming back. I am so happy. I believe I will always remember this day in my heart. First kiss, I really didn't expect it. This feeling is really wonderful. I must remember it well. Yi Fei reached out and touched his kissed face again. Until now, he still couldn't believe that all this was true. But the facts were there. Lying on the bed, tossing and turning, no matter what, his mind was always thinking about what happened when they just separated. Okay, I'll work hard to become stronger. Only in this way can I protect her well. I will never allow him to get hurt again. Yi Fei suddenly stood up and said firmly. He took off his clothes and went to the bathroom to wash up. Today had passed too quickly. And he could continue to be with Miu Miu tomorrow, which made him want to go to bed quickly. In this way, the next day would come quickly. Before lying on the bed, he was still thinking about those things in his mind. It didn't take long for him to fall asleep. Maybe it was because of everything that happened today, even the dream was so beautiful. The night passed so quickly. The sun rose slowly, and the diligent birds had already come out to hunt. Yi Fei also got up at the moment the sun came out. Good weather, this kind of weather is really suitable for going out. Yi Fei pushed open the window to let the air in the room change. At this moment, he suddenly remembered the reward he got for completing the task yesterday. Although he didn't know what it was, it must be very good. After all, it was not something in the original book, so it must have its special features. I really don't have time to verify it now. Yi Fei has been taking care of himself, choosing clothes that he particularly likes and wearing them. In order to leave a better impression on Miu Miu. Looking at himself in the mirror, Yi Fei smiled. Okay, let's do it in one go. But isn't it too early to go find Miu Miu now? Let's go later. Let her have a good rest. Yi Fei looked at the sun outside, then came to sit on the sofa. Now there is plenty of time to prepare things. After all, the main purpose of today is to teach Miu Miu ninjutsu. First of all, we must know what type of chakra she has. Only in this way can we prescribe the right medicine. He stood up and went to the bedroom to take out the chakra test paper. He put all the things in his backpack. The things are ready, and now we are waiting for time. Wait a little longer so that Miu Miu can sleep a little longer. It's 8 o'clock now. It's time to go find Miu Miu. Yi Fei looked at the time and picked up his equipment to go out. Who is that early in the morning? Is there a new mission? This is too bad. Yi Fei was a little flustered. If there is a new mission, he will break his promise again. Although he was not sure who was looking for him, he still had to open the door to take a look. God bless me, there must be no new tasks. Yi Fei held the door handle and thought silently in his heart. He opened the door and saw Miu Miu standing outside. Miu Miu, why are you here? I was thinking of looking for you. Yi Fei felt relieved and relaxed. Miu Miu looked puzzled after hearing what Yi Fei said. What's wrong? You had agreed to train with me today. So you got up very early today. Miu Miu looked at Yi Fei and said very obediently. Yi Fei smiled awkwardly from time to time, then nodded. It's okay, no problem. We two really have a good understanding. I was just about to go out to look for you, but I didn't expect you to come. Yi Fei said happily. Miu Miu smiled. In that case, let's go. Now is the right time. I am especially looking forward to our training today. Miu Miu picked up his equipment and said with a smile. Yi Fei nodded, closed his door, and walked with Miu Miu towards the back mountain. On the way, the two of them smiled at each other. This was the first time they had come out to train together besides dating. And they were all for the same goal, to become stronger. I used to train at the back mountain. I have to say that place is really good. No one usually goes there. Today we can train there without any worries. I believe that with your talent, you will definitely surprise me. Yi Fei said with a smile as he walked along the road. I don't have much confidence in myself. Don't think I'm a fool later. Miu Miu said a little embarrassedly. Yi Fei smiled and nodded. Don't worry, no matter what happens, I won't look down on you. And I was also very stupid before. The two of them were very happy chatting together, and soon they came to the back mountain. Usually there is really no one here, and the view from the cliff is very good. If you are tired of training, you can relax here. I didn't expect this place to be so good. Why didn't I find it before? It's really strange. Miu Miu stood in the back mountain and looked at everything around him. Yi Fei closed his eyes and took a breath of fresh air, feeling very relaxed all over. Without further ado, the two of them started training. Put all the things in one place. It looks like you're ready. Let's get started. The first step is to check your chakra attributes. Yi Fei said in an orderly manner, and took out a chakra test paper from his pocket. Miu Miu nodded very seriously. For this training, she didn't dare to relax at all. Miu Miu took the chakra test paper and looked at it carefully. She found that there was nothing special about it, just an ordinary small card. Can this thing test my attributes? I am more or less skeptical. Miu Miu looked up at Yi Fei, very puzzled. Don't underestimate it, this thing can really. Wait a moment, and you inject your chakra into it. As for the changes that have taken place, I will not explain them to you now. Wait a minute, and you will understand it yourself. Yi Fei looked at Miu Miu, who was full of doubts, and said patiently. Miu Miu nodded confidently. She was also very curious about her chakra attributes. For such a long time, she had never been exposed to this aspect of knowledge. Okay, let's start. After listening, Miu Miu concentrated on injecting the chakra in his body into the test paper. After 2 or 3 seconds, the chakra test began to change. At first, the paper slowly became wet, then became very dry, and then caught fire. The flame was not very big, but it was indeed very wet at the beginning. After the flame went out, Miu Miu looked up at Yi Fei. It seems that your chakra attributes are water and fire. But water is stronger, and I have ninjutsu for that. As for fire, it's not as strong, and I can't. So today we will first train water jutsu. I can't say anything about fire jutsu right now. After all, I don't know how to do it either. Yi Fei thought about it carefully, and then said calmly. Miu Miu was very happy. Today he finally knew what ninjutsu he could learn. Thank you very much, Yi Fei. I will definitely train hard, strive to graduate from school as soon as possible, and then come to find you. Miu Miu said with a smile on his face. Yi Fei nodded. This result was what he wanted very much. Well, it's getting late. Let's hurry up and start training. Let's start with the most basic. Yi Fei came to the side with the props he had prepared. Miu Miu followed closely. Now that the direction has been found, as long as we start training in this direction, it will be very easy. Before the test, Yi Fei was always worried that the chakra attributes of the two of them were different. In that case, there would be no way to teach Miu Miu. The result is still very optimistic. Although he can't do fire escape, he can still do water escape. The hand seals for water escape are also very simple. At least it is very simple for me. How about you? Don't worry, I will definitely teach you. Yi Fei looked at Miu Miu standing in front of him and said very patiently. Miu Miu nodded. Now she just wanted to learn humbly and grow up quickly. The training of the two also began at this time. Miu Miu has a good talent and a very strong learning ability. Yi Fei looked at the students he taught and showed a satisfied smile. I believe that it won't be long before I can train her well. He pays attention to every detail and is very patient. This kind of thing is also very helpful to him. Although he doesn't have to fight, he can also become more and more skilled. The training days often pass very quickly, and just like this, it is almost evening. Well, take a break. It's getting late. Sit here for a while, then we'll go down the mountain. Yi Fei took out a bottle of water and gave it to Miu Miu. He drank it in big gulps, then wiped the sweat off his face and sat on the ground. I'm really tired. I didn't expect training to be so tiring. It seems I must work harder in the future. Miu Miu felt very relaxed sitting on the ground. Yi Fei nodded. Miu Miu, you have great talent. And you have a very strong learning ability. I believe I can teach you in no time. But the prerequisite is that you need to be familiar with it and like it. If you just want to keep up with me, then I won't teach you well. Yi Fei said thoughtfully. If you don't really like it, but are forced to do it, then it's better not to learn it. Don't worry, I'm not just trying to keep up with you. And I like it very much. Otherwise, I wouldn't have asked you to teach me. Miu Miu said happily. Yi Fei smiled and nodded. Just like that, neither of them spoke, and they just sat there watching the sunset. Such a warm scene, from behind them, was like a painting. I didn't expect the sunset to be like this. And it's really great to watch it from this place. I've never seen a sunset before. At most, I've only seen a sunrise. Yi Fei watched the sun slowly descending in the distance. I really didn't expect this to be your first time watching the sunset. If I had nothing to do, I would stare at the setting sun. In fact, sometimes I wonder if we will also rise slowly like the sun, and then slowly set. Miu Miu held his face with both hands, and then looked ahead and whispered. Yi Fei nodded. In fact, our life is nothing more than this. We will definitely reach a peak and then slowly descend. In fact, it is describing our life. From birth to adulthood, then to old age, and finally death. Yi Fei smiled gently and said, since Yi Fei came to this world and lived for so long, he has already taken life and death very lightly. The final result of a person's life is death. If there is no brilliant performance or deeds, then it is really a dull life. Well, with such a beautiful picture, how can we talk about life and death? It feels like it really ruins the atmosphere. Miu Miu suddenly patted Yi Fei on the shoulder and said to him. Yi Fei smiled. How could he say such a thing at this time? I wonder if you have any plans for the future. Yi Fei turned around and suddenly asked. I don't know. I've never really thought about it. It may also be that my age does not allow me to think about these things. Just live the life in front of me. Miu Miu thought for a moment. Indeed, at our age, we really shouldn't think about these things. But if you graduate from school, you have to think about these things. After all, we will all be grown up by then. Yi Fei thought about it again. I don't know why, but now he feels very strange. On such a peaceful day, sitting there and thinking about very strange things all the time. Okay, let's not talk about this anymore. It's getting late. Let's hurry up and go down the mountain. Yi Fei stood up slowly. Miu Miu looked at Yi Fei beside him and slowly stood up. The sun had already set. The two of them packed up their equipment and slowly walked down the mountain. They had gained a lot today. Miu Miu learned a lot of new things that he couldn't learn in school. When Yi Fei taught Miu Miu, he once again became familiar with the seal, which would only benefit him. After going down the mountain, we arrived at the center of Konoha village. I am very tired today. I will take a good shower and rest after returning home. Will classes start again tomorrow? Yi Fei said as he stood by the road. Miu Miu nodded. Yes, school starts again tomorrow. But it doesn't matter. I learned a lot of new things today, and I also feel stronger inside. All these contributions are yours. When you don't have to go to school one day, I will treat you to a meal. Miu Miu looked at Yi Fei and said with a smile. Yi Fei nodded. Now he also wanted to improve Miu Miu's strength as soon as possible. That way he could also ensure his own safety. Miu Miu looked at Yi Fei standing next to her, a little dazed. And when she first saw Yi Fei, the picture of him full of light came to her mind again. It was such an ordinary boy who became her savior hero. Although these were all her own fantasies, they were enough for her. Okay, now I'm going to take you home. We can talk about eating later when we have time. Anyway, there is still a lot of time in the future. Take your time, don't rush. Yi Fei patted Miu Miu's head gently and said with a smile. This wave of operations made Miu Miu's face turn red instantly. Okay. I will listen to you. Miu Miu lowered his head very embarrassedly, and then whispered. Yi Fei, as a straight man, did not notice these details. The two walked slowly on the road, heading towards Miu Miu's house. A large tree passed by them in an instant. Soon, they arrived at the door of Miu Miu's house. This also means that it is time to say goodbye again today. I'm here, Fei, thank you for your hard work today. Take some time to rest after you go back. I think you are tired. Standing at the door, Miu Miu said softly. Yi Fei smiled and nodded. Don't worry, I'm fine. I will go to bed early when I get back, even though I am teaching you something now. But you still can't slack off in school. You must study hard, after all, what the teacher teaches is very useful. Yi Fei looked at Miu Miu and said. Miu Miu nodded, then said hello and walked into his home. Yi Fei turned around and looked around. There aren't many people on the street now. Maybe tomorrow is the first day of school and everyone has gone home to sleep. Fortunately, I graduated from school, otherwise I would have to continue to live that hard life. Yi Fei shook his head as if he was relieved. He turned around and walked slowly towards his home. Today's training was indeed not very tiring for him. And being with Miu Miu, it was even less likely to be tiring. Yi Fei whistled, put his hands in his pockets, and walked slowly on the road. He was in a very good mood now. I don't know what to do tomorrow. I feel like there's nothing to do. Well, there are not missions every day. If there are no missions, I can only stay at home. Yi Fei whistled and thought silently. Bang! Yi Fei stepped on a wine bottle without paying attention and almost fell down. Fortunately, he had a good balance and stood firm immediately. What is this? Yi Fei looked down and found it was a bottle. A bottle came out of nowhere, and people would feel very suspicious. He immediately began to look around. Under a street lamp, he found a drunk man. Who is it? A drunkard. Yi Fei was very curious, and then he looked forward carefully. A man with a stubble on his face and tattered clothes was sitting on the ground with his head down. He was still mumbling something. Oh my God, this smell of alcohol. How much did you drink? Yi Fei pinched his nose and fanned the air in front of him. Uncle, is there something wrong? Yi Fei pinched his nose, bent down and patted his shoulder. The drunk uncle slowly raised his head, slowly opened his eyes, and looked at Yi Fei in a trance. What kid, why are you disturbing me? Go play nearby. The drunk uncle said with some disdain. Good man, I cared about you with good intentions, but I didn't expect to get this attitude from you. It seems that I am redundant. Then I won't bother you anymore. I hope you can go home safely. Yi Fei is also a person who is not convinced. He straightened his back and said unceremoniously. After feeling that he was meddling in other people's business, he turned around and wanted to leave. At this moment, Yi Fei's hand was suddenly grabbed by the drunk uncle. Boy, you. The drunk uncle squinted his eyes, looked around with a misty look, and then vomited with a wow. What are you doing? Yi Fei said angrily after seeing his pants covered with vomit. The drunk uncle leaned against the wall and smiled softly. Boy, you look amazing. We are both practicing together, but we are good material. Are you interested in listening to me? The drunk uncle wiped his mouth with his tattered sleeve. Yi Fei looked at the vomit on his pants and felt a little nauseous. Now he didn't want to listen to this at all. Instead, he thought he was a big liar. Chapter 71. Okay, you want to deny it just because you vomited on my pants. Don't bother with that. I thought you were drunk. I won't bother with you. But now you want to deceive me again. I can't let you go. Yi Fei squatted down and said viciously. The drunk uncle just smiled softly after hearing this. Others laugh at me for being too crazy. I laugh at them for not seeing through me. Boy, if you think I'm a liar, you can just leave. If you want me to accompany your pants, there is no way. I don't have any money, and I don't have anything valuable on me. The drunk uncle said disapprovingly. Yi Fei looked up and down and found that it was indeed the case. But he couldn't just swallow his anger. I thought you were a big liar, but now it seems that you are a big liar who wants to default on your debt. Yi Fei said in a very bad tone. The drunk uncle did not speak, but just smiled softly. What are you laughing at? Is it really that funny? Yi Fei couldn't suppress his anger anymore and wanted to teach this man a lesson. Boy, why don't you listen to me first? Anyway, I don't want money, and from your appearance, you are also a kid who has nothing to do. The drunk uncle opened his eyes slightly and looked at Yi Fei and said. Yi Fei didn't know what the drunk uncle wanted to say to deceive him. Anyway, he was very bored now, so he decided to listen first. Good. Anyway, I have nothing to do now. But I am not an idle person, I have a serious job. Yi Fei sat down next to him unconvinced, and deliberately avoided the vomit. The drunk uncle smiled again. Boy, I just found that you are indeed very suitable for cultivation. And you have your own big secrets, although I don't want to know them. Wait for what I'm going to say next and see if you want to hear it. The drunk uncle squinted and turned his head. Yi Fei became more and more curious about the man in front of him. Option A. After listening to the drunk uncle, complete the reward, lightning release, scattering. Option B. If he doesn't listen, just beat him up. Completion reward. Physical function drops by 1 level. This is the first time Yi Fei has seen a reward with a penalty. This also makes him more and more curious about the man in front of him. In order to take a good look at what is there, Yi Fei decisively chose option A. Well, if that's the case, then you tell me, Yi Fei said very impolitely. The drunk uncle nodded very satisfied, and then took a few more sips of wine. Boy, your chakra attribute has a lightning, and it is relatively weak. I'm right, right. The drunk uncle squinted his eyes and looked at Yi Fei and said in a low voice. Yi Fei nodded, but he was still very excited. This man was the first time he saw him. If he thought about it carefully, it was only the moment he just touched him. If he could feel the chakra properties in his body like this, it would be too amazing. Is that all you want to say? Yi Fei hid his inner excitement and asked doubtfully. The drunk uncle shook his head and took a few sips of wine again. Wind and water are your other attributes. What do you think? Am I right? And you are best at using wind escape. What I want to tell you is that your thunder may not be weaker than the wind. The drunk uncle said very seriously. I didn't expect it to be so amazing. But what you just said is impossible. When testing, Lei was the least noticeable. Yi Fei felt very magical this time. The drunk uncle shook his head gently. You're totally wrong. The reason why your thunder is the weakest is because it is sealed. If he is unblocked, he will definitely be the strongest. The drunk uncle took a sip of wine. Yi Fei felt very incredible. This was the first time he encountered such a thing. Uncle, how did you know that? Yi Fei asked with a skeptical attitude. Of course I found it out. It's better if you don't ask about my affairs. Today is a good day for both of us. Let's meet here. As a token of my gratitude, I will give you this thing. I believe it will play the greatest role in you. The drunk uncle took out a tattered scroll from his tattered clothes. What is it? Yi Fei took the scroll and asked curiously. The drunk uncle drank all the wine in the bottle in one breath. You will understand it after you go home and read it yourself. It also talks about the seal. Don't let me down, boy. We'll meet again in the future. The drunk uncle stood up unsteadily. Yi Fei looked at the scroll in his hand, and when he came to his senses, he found that the drunk uncle had disappeared. Strangeness. Where did you go? You just left. Why are you giving me a broken scroll? And it's so broken, there's no words inside. Yi Fei stood up and cursed, then threw the scroll to the ground in anger. At this moment, he suddenly remembered something very important. He immediately touched his purse. It was stolen. He is indeed a liar, but how did he know my attributes? Yi Fei was very angry at the moment, but he had no place to vent. There was only so much money in his purse, so he stole it. But thinking about it carefully, he still felt very angry. There was nothing he could do, so he could only pick up the worn-out scroll and walk back home. After all, he bought it with his own money. I'm so unlucky today. I didn't expect to meet such a big liar like him. It's all my fault for meddling in other people's business. I must not be so stupid again if I encounter this kind of situation next time. After returning home, Yi Fei threw the scroll aside and sat on the sofa, very angry. He didn't get any benefits and was cheated by a drunk uncle. The most important thing is that he didn't know when the purse was stolen. I didn't expect that a bag of money would be exchanged for a scroll without words. And it was so shabby. Yi Fei frowned and stared at the broken scroll. Seeing the scroll, he felt more and more angry. He thought he would never see that big liar again. There was no other way, so he finally convinced himself. Just think of it as a lesson learned. You should be more careful in the future. Yi Fei shook his head helplessly and sighed. He helped out with good intentions, but got a blank scroll in return. And his wallet was stolen again. He turned around and looked at the scroll, and the more he thought about it, the angrier he got. He stood up, took off his pants, and took them to the bathroom to clean up the vomit on them. I, Yi Fei, swear that if I encounter this kind of situation again, and I still help, I will not be named Yi. Then he said angrily. In anger, he washed his pants and put them together. After everything was done, he came to the bedroom. Forget it, it's already happened. What's the use of regretting it now? Let's hurry up and sleep, and get this bad day over with. Yi Fei lay on the bed and started thinking about all sorts of things. At first, his mood was very calm, but the more he thought about the drunk uncle he met tonight, the more he thought about it. It was really helpless, and he finally fell asleep after tossing and turning. The next day, Yi Fei slowly got up, and then found that he had not slept well all night. He was dreaming all the time, and he would wake up from time to time. I have to find something else to do. If this continues, I will be the one who is in trouble. Yi Fei shook his head and patted his face, trying to wake himself up. He looked at the sky outside, put on his clothes and went to the living room. He wanted to find something else to do, but found that he had nothing to do. He used to come here alone, and now he finally has something to do, but Miu Miu has already started school today. If he wants to kill time, he must go out for a walk. I am really upset. Yi Fei sat on the sofa all of a sudden. He was not feeling well. He closed his eyes and raised his head, then put his hands naturally beside him. After groping for a while, he touched the wordless scroll again. His brows were slightly furrowed. Why are you here again? Yi Fei opened his eyes and looked at the scroll he had in his hand. It was still so shabby. He flipped through it carefully but still didn't find a single word. But this time, he didn't get angry. Instead, he was very calm. When he met the drunk uncle before, it was also the system that made him make the choice. The system couldn't cause trouble for him. There must be something he didn't find. Anyway, I got this scroll myself. It's better to take a closer look. Maybe there is something I don't know. Yi Fei slowly opened the scroll and looked inside. It was still blank. His mind began to work quickly, thinking of countless possibilities. After a night, Yi Fei now believed that this scroll must have its special place. Water. Does it need water to make the words appear? Yi Fei suddenly thought of a way, and immediately got up and went to the bathroom, and couldn't wait to try it. After some operation, the shaft did not change at all. Is there any other way? Yi Fei was very confused, and the scroll turned from wet to dry at this time. This made him feel very strange. Chakra. That must be chakra. Yi Fei was full of excitement and came to the living room with the scroll. Just now, an idea suddenly flashed through his mind. If he injected his chakra into it, he might get the result he wanted. Everything was ready. He took the scroll in his hand and carefully injected chakra into it. Little by little, the scroll changed. The very worn scroll became brand new little by little. After seeing the changes in Zhengzhou, Yi Fei also smiled. This really made him unexpected. I didn't expect there would be such an operation. It seems that I was too small. Ha ha ha. Yi Fei smiled happily as he watched the scroll still changing. After more than a minute, the appearance of the scroll finally changed. It changed from a shabby appearance to a very gorgeous surface. And there were a few big words on it, 5 Thunders Heavenly Heart Art. Yi Fei became more and more excited as he read the words one by one. If this scroll is real, then this is also the first time he has learned ninjutsu by himself. He was so happy. He thought he was cheated. Now it seems to be very useful. But his money is gone. Wow, the 5 Thunders Heavenly Heart technique has come out. It seems that a big change has happened this time. But does this thing still need to be practiced by oneself? Yi Fei looked at the scroll and said doubtfully. Now he didn't dare to confirm whether he had this ability. He never needed to learn the ninjutsu he had acquired before. He shook his head and stopped thinking about these things. He slowly opened the scroll and looked at the words that appeared inside. He suddenly remembered that the drunk uncle said yesterday that there was a record of the seal in it. But he searched for it but didn't find any relevant words. What exactly is going on? Is it that this book only talks about the cultivation method of this thing? Yi Fei frowned slightly and said in a low voice. After checking it carefully several times, there is indeed no knowledge about that aspect. Forget it. Chakra is unlimited anyway. It doesn't matter if you have this thing or not. But this thing is so hard to practice. Yi Fei looked at the training methods in it and felt that his head was about to explode. He hadn't studied for a long time, and it was still a bit hard for him to accept suddenly learning something. Take a good look at it. Some of it reminds me of the time when I was studying. Yi Fei poured a glass of water and began to study the contents carefully. As long as he could learn this, his strength would definitely increase greatly. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. Time slipped away little by little, and Yi Fei didn't notice that the sun outside was about to set. When studying, time will pass very quickly. In a blink of an eye, today will soon pass. Yi Fei put down the scroll, closed his eyes, and then thought about it in his mind. Very good, I have mastered the general knowledge. Now I should practice it well. It should be possible. Yi Fei slowly stood up, turned his head and saw the sky outside. Isn't it? How come it suddenly got dark? I just remembered it was still morning. I didn't expect that I had missed another day. Yi Fei was very helpless. He had spent the whole day learning the Five Thunders Heavenly Heart technique. He drank the water on the table and came to the yard. It was a little cold tonight, so Yi Fei immediately returned to the room, put on a coat, and came to the yard again. Okay, let's see how good I am at learning. Yi Fei relaxed his body and then concentrated. He carefully recalled what was written on the scroll. He slowly raised his hand and began to seal. He followed the steps step by step and there were no problems. Five Thunders, Heaven's Heart Technique. Yi Fei whispered. Then, a large ball of lightning appeared in the center of his palm. It kept crackling. Success. I didn't expect that I had such a good talent that I learned it in one day. Yi Fei said happily as he looked at the lightning in the center of his palm. I just realized that this thing has 5 forms. At present, this is only the first ordinary form. Next, let's try the second form. Yi Fei put away his smile and focused his attention. The lightning in the center of his palm changed little by little. All gathered in one place, shining brightly, about the length of a chopstick. A beam of light gathered in the center of his palm. Is this what gathering is? It seems that there is no difference. It would be better to find something to test its power. Yi Fei looked around and found that only the big tree could test its power. He raised his foot and slowly walked in front of the big tree. He looked down at the beam of light in the center of his palm, and then slowly approached the big tree. There was a crackling sound and a burning smell came out. The beam of light in the center of his palm instantly merged into the big tree. Is this thing so hot? The whole tree was burnt. Yi Fei said in surprise, and quickly retracted his hand and looked at the beam in the center of his palm. There was a burnt hole on the tree, although it was not very big. But if it was on a person, it would be different. It's quite useful. The book says that you can use the 5 forms directly. That is, there is no need to start from the first form. This design is quite user-friendly. Yi Fei slowly retracted his chakra, and the beam in his hand disappeared. Standing in the center of the yard and looking up at the starry sky, everything that happened before flashed through his mind. I thought I was cheated, but now it seems that I thought too little. Although the money was indeed lost, it was relatively worthwhile to exchange it for such a powerful ninjutsu. I really don't know who that uncle is. I've never seen him before. And I don't know him at all. Yi Fei was a little distressed, and then scratched his head. A stranger gave him such a powerful scroll, which was equivalent to giving him a small plug-in. Yi Fei didn't think too much and went back to the room. Suddenly he remembered that he hadn't eaten today, so he went to the kitchen and prepared some food. When I came to my senses, I was really hungry. Take the time to make something to eat. Let your stomach be satisfied. There is nothing to do tomorrow. I don't know when I will go out on a mission again. Yi Fei said softly while making the food he wanted to eat. While cooking, he thought about what happened before. Although it felt like a dream, it was real. After working for a while, he finally prepared all the food he wanted to eat. He came to the door of the living room with the food. Let's eat outside today. It's not bad to eat dinner while looking at the stars. Yi Fei brought a small table and put it outside. After everything was ready, he sat at the table and started to eat dinner. A simple meal was enough to satisfy him. For so many years, he had only eaten a few meals cooked by others. Before coming to this world, Yi Fei was alone. Not to mention eating meals cooked by others, at most he would eat takeout. It was not easy to live in a different world, but he had lost his parents in this world. I didn't expect that my life would be so hard. If nothing goes wrong, maybe I can eat something made by others in the future. Yi Fei ate his meal and thought silently in his heart. There were many stars twinkling in the sky, and several meteors also streaked across the sky. After finishing his meal, Yi Fei did not rush to clean up. He sat there and looked up at the beautiful starry sky. For a moment, he forgot all his worries. The day passed with the meteors streaking across the sky. The next day, Yi Fei did not get up early as usual. Instead, he slept in. It has become a habit over time, but if you want to sleep in, no one can stop you. At 8 or 9 in the morning, Yi Fei slowly opened his eyes. So comfortable. Sure enough, the most wonderful things in the world are eating and sleeping. After Yi Fei got up, he looked out the window. The weather was very good today. He decided to dry all his quilts in the sun. He immediately got out of bed, put on his clothes, and took the quilts to the yard. Well, let's put it here, the angle is just right. Yi Fei said, very satisfied with his work. After finishing, he returned to the room and made a simple breakfast for himself. After breakfast, he left home and came to the street. Since there was really nothing to do at home, he simply went out for a walk, changed the environment, and breathed some fresh air. There are all kinds of people in the streets and alleys. I really don't know what they are busy with, as if no matter what time, they have their own things to do. Yi Fei looked at these busy people, but felt a little incredible. This village is not very big, but it seems that there are not so many idle people with nothing to do. Suddenly I envy those who are in school. Although they can't make money, at least they can go to school every day. There are also those who work every day and work hard to make money. I really don't know what they are doing. Yi Fei smiled and said helplessly. At this time, a dark ninja wearing a cat face mask suddenly appeared. Panda, there is a mission. Yi Fei looked up at the ninja. Brother Mao, I finally have a mission. You don't know what I've been through these days. Now I finally have something to do. Yi Fei hugged the old cat excitedly. Okay, I didn't expect you to love carrying out missions so much. This time is also very simple. No need to report, I will tell you here. Old cat looked around and said in a low voice. Yi Fei was a little confused. What kind of mission is it? He didn't even need to report and he was about to start. After hearing what old cat said, Yi Fei felt bad. This time the mission was not to go outside or to protect anyone. Instead, he had to patrol the village to ensure that every place was safe. Why is the mission like this time? Isn't this too boring? Yi Fei was a little disappointed. The old cat patted his shoulder. Well, this is a lot of money for the mission. Anyway, I have nothing to do now. Although Yi Fei was very reluctant, his nature could never refuse any mission. After nodding and agreeing, the old cat instantly disappeared from the spot and went to another place to start patrolling. Yi Fei looked around and did not find anything unusual. He quickly walked back home, changed his clothes, put on a mask and came to a hidden place on the street. Another boring day has come. But fortunately, I can see what they are doing. Yi Fei once again moved to a more secret place. After arriving on the tree, he sat there and looked at the large area he managed below. The main purpose was to ensure that nothing dangerous would happen. If someone made trouble, they must stop it at the first time. Today's task is also very simple, and it will also be very boring. It was almost 11 o'clock, and the number of people on the street suddenly increased. Most of them were women. It's almost noon now. Are everyone out buying groceries? You won't know until you see it, so many people will rush out. If you compete with them for discounted goods, you will definitely not get any benefit. Yi Fei knows the fighting power of these mothers very well. On the streets and alleys, no matter which store, it is full of people. And most of them are women. There are so many discounted goods every day, and the vegetables and fruits are very fresh. Suddenly I don't feel so bored anymore. Watching each of them is like watching a movie. And I don't know what will happen. Yi Fei said happily while sitting on the big tree. Catch the thief, catch the thief. At this moment, a scream came from not far away. Yi Fei looked over and found a middle-aged woman chasing a masked man. and the masked man was holding a lady's bag in his hand. Good fellow, robbing in broad daylight. It seems that you have lived enough. Yi Fei stretched his muscles. He did not move immediately, because the thief was indeed very slow for him. Even if he was allowed to run 100 meters, he could catch up without any effort. The thief was running in front, and he pushed all the people who were blocking the way to the side. Now no one could stop him. The distance between the thief and the woman was getting bigger and bigger. Yi Fei stood on the tree and watched when the time was right, then he quickly jumped down and landed steadily. Stop! Yi Fei ran towards the thief and shouted loudly. The middle-aged woman stood there panting. Now she had no strength left. And she had just seen a masked ninja chasing after her. The thief suddenly heard Yi Fei's voice when he ran forward. He turned around and found that it was a masked ninja. He started to panic. As we all know, there is no way to compare ordinary people with ninjas. And the speed between them is also very different. I told you to stop, did you hear me? Yi Fei was a little impatient when he saw the thief had no intention of stopping. The thief ignored Yi Fei and kept running forward. Few people didn't take Yi Fei seriously at all, but felt that they could escape smoothly. There is really no hope. It seems that I must bring you to justice today. Yi Fei began to speed up, twice as fast as before. He came directly behind the thief in one step, stretched out his hand and grabbed his collar. He pulled him back hard, and then threw him down hard. The thief fell to the ground with his hands holding the backpack. Run, you're quite a runner, aren't you? Yi Fei squatted down and looked at the thief, saying viciously. The thief didn't say anything, just gasping for breath. The speed he just ran was the fastest in his life. Even he himself didn't expect to be able to run so fast. But in front of the Anbu ninja, these are non-existent. Oh, why do you have to rob someone when you can do something else? Yi Fei reached out and snatched the backpack from his arms. He stood up and dragged the thief forward. When he came to the middle-aged woman, Yi Fei returned the backpack to her. Check if there is anything missing inside, and be more careful next time. I will send this thief to the security department. Yi Fei said very politely. Thank you, thank you. The middle-aged woman turned over her backpack and found that nothing was missing. She immediately bowed and thanked Yi Fei very much. Yi Fei didn't say anything more and dragged the thief towards the police station again. The people around were also watching the excitement there. I am so unlucky, little brother, could you please let me go? You are so generous, I will never do this again. The thief was dragged behind, but he kept talking. You want me to let you go? That's too much. This kind of thing is not up to me. If you have anything to say, go to the security office and tell it. Yi Fei said bluntly. The thief was also very helpless after seeing Yi Fei's attitude. And what he did must be punished by law. Yi Fei handed the thief over to the police department, and then told him what happened. Yi Fei didn't expect that there would be a reward for this. Although it's not much, it's also good. Yi Fei took the reward he got and returned to the big tree just now. I didn't expect that after catching a thief, I would get some money. It's a little less, but this is my first time to get a bonus. Yi Fei said quietly while looking at the passers-by walking back and forth on the street. Although the money is small, it has a different meaning. And he feels like a messenger of justice who is maintaining world peace. This sense of accomplishment instantly satisfied him. There are all kinds of people here, don't they have proper jobs? Otherwise, it would be impossible to do such a thing. Yi Fei sat on the big tree and looked down. Catching thieves on the street has never happened before. I don't know what happened today. Suddenly, a guy who snatched the bag appeared. My appearance just now should make those who are lucky enough to take chances behave themselves. I really hope this day can pass quickly. Yi Fei looked at the passers-by on the street through the mask. In the following time, he sat here and observed his area. Fortunately, nothing else happened since the bag thief. This also made him feel very bored, always wanting to do something. The boring day is finally over. I can finally move around. I've been working here all day and my waist hurts. Yi Fei looked up at the dark sky and whispered. He slowly came to the ground and moved his body around. This movement made his body make a crackling sound. Comfortable. After Yi Fei moved around for a while, he felt very relaxed all over. He came to the Anbu, handed over the task and returned home. This time the task was completed. Although he only caught a thief who snatched the bag, he was still happy in his heart. It's better than doing nothing. Suddenly, I felt very distressed. What should I do tomorrow? Yi Fei sat on the sofa in the living room and said helplessly. He stared blankly at the front. His mind was blank. Today was a small task. He didn't know what would be waiting for him tomorrow. He didn't want to continue such a boring day. He had to find something better to do. Tomorrow, what should I do? I am really upset. Yi Fei scratched his hair frantically. He thought for a long time, but still got no result. In order to stop himself from thinking too much, he went to the bathroom, washed up and returned to the bedroom. I almost forgot about the quilt I had put out to dry. Look at my brain. When Yi Fei saw that his bed was empty, he instantly remembered the quilt he had put out to dry this morning. He sighed and turned to the yard. He took all the quilts back to the room and tidied them up. Finally, I can sleep well. The newly dried quilt must be very comfortable. Yi Fei smelled the smell on the quilt and said with great satisfaction. The quilt is full of the smell of the sun. Sleeping with this quilt at night will definitely make you sleep very comfortably. You may even have a good dream. Go to bed, good night. Yi Fei got into bed, closed his eyes and began to rest. Although he was not very tired today, he was very tired from staring at the sun all the time. When he was sleeping, he could always smell the scent of the sun, which made him sleep very comfortably and peacefully that night. The next day, the sun rose slowly as usual. Yi Fei got up very early as usual. After washing up, he stood in the yard and began to move around. This was also an idea he had come up with recently, and it was also to kill time. Comfortable. Yi Fei nodded with satisfaction when he heard the sound of his bones. After the activity, he went to the kitchen and started to make breakfast for himself. After completing all the basic operations, he sat in the yard and became bored again. New mission, when can you come? Yi Fei looked at everything in his yard and said with some boredom. At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared in the middle of his yard. Anbu. Yi Fei calmly saw the man with a mask on his face. Panda, go to the Anbu to gather. There is something very important to announce today. The old cat looked at Yi Fei in front of him and whispered. When Yi Fei heard that he had to gather, he suddenly became happy. The thing he had been looking forward to just now was realized all of a sudden. Okay, I'll go right away. Yi Fei stood up and said excitedly. The old cat nodded, and then disappeared from the spot in an instant. He came to the street from the big tree. It seems necessary to clean up this big tree. No matter who comes to my house, they like to leave from this tree. It's really strange. Yi Fei looked at the big tree in his yard and said with some doubt. Without thinking any more, he went directly to the bedroom to change into the clothes of the Anbu. He put on the mask and rushed out of the house quickly. As a ninja of the Anbu, he rarely appeared on the street. So on the way to the Anbu, he ran on the big tree all the time. I don't know what's waiting for me today. I'm getting more and more excited, as if there's something very important to announce. What is it? On the way to the Anbu, Yi Fei was very excited and full of doubts. But he was more happy because he finally had something to do and he would not be so bored anymore. In Yi Fei's current situation, he can really be regarded as a workaholic. He is always thinking about his mission, and he wants to think only about the mission. If conditions permit, Yi Fei really wants to be either on a mission or on the way to a mission. But things did not go as he wished, and he knew very well that missions were not always available. And some missions were very simple, just like secretly observing the village yesterday. He quickened his pace and soon arrived at the entrance of the Anbu. He took a deep breath and walked in slowly. At this time, all the personnel had arrived. Only he was missing. Captain, everyone. Yi Fei came to them and greeted them very naturally. You're not slow, wait a moment. The protagonist of today has not arrived yet. Yan Wang patted Yi Fei on the shoulder and said to him with a smile. Yi Fei was a little confused. Although he knew that there was an important announcement today, he didn't expect there was another protagonist. It seems that the announcement is directly related to this person. Okay, Yi Fei nodded, and then came to everyone. Sister Snake, do you know what happened this time? Yi Fei asked in a low voice. I can't tell for sure, but it seems like there's a new person joining. Who is it exactly? I don't know now. Wash nodded gently and said in a low voice. It seems that she is not very clear. So that's how it is. No wonder we have to wait for someone to show up before announcing things. Otherwise, it would have been announced long ago. Yi Fei sighed. Now he didn't know who this new member was. But to be able to join the Anbu, he must have something extraordinary, or he must be very powerful. I am really getting more and more curious. I wonder if this person can give me a surprise. Who could it be? Yi Fei began to search for people he knew. Of course, it was possible that the newcomer was someone he didn't know. Time passed slowly, and Yan Wang was watching the entrance. There were still 5 minutes left until the agreed time. Why hasn't this kid come yet? Did he oversleep? That shouldn't happen. He doesn't look like that kind of person. Yan Wang said anxiously. Yi Fei moved his ears. Boy. It looks like another boy has joined, but among the people I know who is strong, the only one is Uchiha Itachi. It could also be that I don't know him. It's all possible. Yi Fei thought thoughtfully. If he wanted to confirm what he thought, he would have to wait until this person came. Da. The sound of steady footsteps reached everyone's ears. Everyone turned their heads to look at the entrance of the Anbu. A boy wearing Anbu clothing, carrying a short knife and wearing a mask walked straight towards them. Everyone's attention was focused on this boy. Finally here. From now on, please arrive as early as possible. The King of Hell came to the boy and said to him. I understand. The boy nodded and whispered. After Yi Fei heard the boy's voice, he always felt very familiar, but he couldn't remember it. This voice is so familiar, I feel like I've heard it somewhere before. Before Yi Fei had time to think, Yan Wang asked them to line up normally. Okay, everyone, be quiet. Today I will introduce you to a new teammate. Yan Wang brought the boy to them. Hello everyone, my name is Crow. The boy said calmly, without any twists and turns in his tone. Yi Fei suddenly imagined a person in his mind, Uchiha Itachi. This made him realize that this crow was Uchiha Itachi. Itachi, is that you? Yi Fei asked excitedly. Uchiha Itachi looked at the ninja in front of him wearing a panda mask. I didn't expect you to guess it. How about it, is it a surprise? Uchiha Itachi's tone has changed a lot from before, now more gentle. Yi Fei was very happy, and then took off his mask. Uchiha Itachi also slowly took off his mask, revealing his true appearance. The two recognized each other at once, and came to each other very excitedly. The other few people showed very puzzled expressions. They didn't understand what happened, but they were not stupid. They knew that the two of them knew each other before. Oh, I never thought that you would graduate early and join my team. Congratulations. Yi Fei looked at Uchiha Itachi and said happily. Uchiha Itachi squinted his eyes and smiled and nodded. Hello everyone, let me introduce you again. My real name is Uchiha Itachi, and I have known Yi Fei for a long time. The reason why I came to the Anbu was also influenced by Yi Fei. But I still want to thank them here. Uchiha Itachi said happily while looking at them. Tisk. Yan Wang and the others seemed to understand the connection at this time. Yi Fei looked at them, and couldn't help laughing. Such a beautiful scene made Uchiha Itachi feel very warm. Now they have known each other for a while, and they are good brothers who have been through life and death together. Everyone knows that he must have something extraordinary to join the Anbu. Moreover, Uchiha Itachi is from the Uchiha family, so maybe he is the genius of the Uchiha family. His strength must be very strong. Itachi, now I am really very happy. From now on, we can go out on missions together. No matter what, I am really happy for you. From now on, we are good brothers who will go through thick and thin together. When we have time, we must have a good meal to celebrate. Yi Fei came to Uchiha Itachi and said with a smile. Uchiha Itachi nodded. Sure, no problem. The reason why I came to your team is that I have some selfish motives. That is to challenge you. Now I can be by your side and observe you carefully. I believe that I can defeat you in a short time. Uchiha Itachi suddenly became serious and whispered. Yi Fei didn't care whether it was a challenge or not, he was very happy in his heart. Wash was listening to their conversation and suddenly felt it was getting more and more interesting. There must be a lot of stories between these two little brothers. It's interesting, and it's getting more and more interesting. The flower snake looked at them with a smile. Don't worry, there will be many opportunities to challenge me in the future. And I also believe in your ability. But don't forget, we are comrades in the same team. Be careful when performing tasks. Don't die before challenging me again. Yi Fei patted Uchiha Itachi's shoulder and said to him with a smile. Uchiha Itachi shook his head. Don't worry, I won't die until I succeed in challenging you. The two looked at each other and smiled. Panda, since you two know each other, you should take Crow to see other places in the Anbu. You two don't have anything to do. Get familiar with it as soon as possible. Yan Wang suddenly walked up to the two of them and said. Yi Fei nodded and stood up. Okay, Captain. Yi Fei will let him get to know the other team members first. Everyone has their own characteristics. Weasel, Flower Snake, Sister Snake, you have to remember this person. Don't stare at her. Even if she doesn't look at you, don't keep staring at her. She has a very special ability. She can feel someone is watching her, and she can know exactly where the other person is. Yi Fei looked at Washi and said to Uchiha Itachi in a very low voice. Uchiha Itachi nodded. Panda, will you die if you don't tell me these things? Washi was very angry, clenched his fists, and the whole person seemed to be on fire. Seeing that the situation was not good, Yi Fei immediately pulled Uchiha Itachi to the side. It's really scary to see this woman. But Sister Snake is still a very good person. Yi Fei was relieved when he saw that Wash didn't chase him. Uchiha Itachi nodded. Although he was not familiar with these people, he could tell from their appearance that they were different from ordinary people. I didn't expect that the Anbu was quite big. Uchiha Itachi looked around the entire structure of the Anbu. Yi Fei nodded. He had the same feeling when he first came here. But he spent very little time here. If he was not on a mission, he would stay at home. He had no time to stay here. Okay, you've recognized all the people. There are still many places here that even I don't know about. Obviously, they are not important. We are not here normally anyway. Yi Fei said indifferently. Uchiha Itachi nodded. Looking at the Uchiha Itachi who suddenly appeared in front of him, Yi Fei was happy from the bottom of his heart. The other people in the team were not the same age as him. And sometimes it was useless to ask them some questions. Now, finally there is a teammate of the same age as him. Yi Fei, when will you take part in the Genin exam? We all graduated early from school, and according to our abilities, we have become Genin, but if we don't take the exam, others won't recognize us. Itachi Uchiha suddenly remembered something, and then said. If you hadn't told me, I would have forgotten. Although I have a stable job now, I still have to take the exam. Otherwise, people will gossip about me. Yi Fei thought about it carefully and said. Uchiha Itachi agreed. There are no tasks now, so it is better to take the exam at this time. And the Genin exam is being organized recently. Then let's hurry up. It seems like there will be an exam soon. Let's just go this time. Yi Fei clapped his hands and said. Uchiha Itachi nodded. The two decided to wait a few days and go to take the exam together. Only in this way can they be recognized by everyone, and strength alone cannot prove it. They must go through rigorous exams to be able to gain a firm foothold. The exam shouldn't be that difficult. With our current strength, we should be able to pass it easily. Yi Fei said thoughtfully. Uchiha Itachi thought so too. They knew their own strength very well, and it was more than enough to deal with those Chunins. Not to mention a small exam. Okay, in that case, let's make a deal. We'll sign up and take the exam together. We still need to be together, come on. Uchiha Itachi stretched out his fist and said with a smile. Yi Fei smiled and nodded, then stretched out his fist. The two fists touched each other lightly. The new members also finished joining the team at this time. Since there were no tasks, everyone left the Anbu and returned to their homes. Yi Fei and Uchiha Itachi felt too bored, so they did not go home directly, but walked on the street. You are unlucky today. I encountered tasks when I first joined, but it's good that there are no tasks now. It can help you relax. When the time comes to go out and complete the mission, it will take more than 1 or 2 days. Yi Fei put his hands in his pockets and said quietly on the way. Uchiha Itachi nodded. Actually, I don't want to carry out the mission at all now. I have to finish the Genin exam immediately. This is also what my father meant. Uchiha Itachi felt a little helpless. Yi Fei smiled lightly. What's this? I am totally different from you. As an orphan, I sometimes envy those children who have parents. But as time went by, this idea faded. Yi Fei looked up at the sky and said softly. His words were full of disappointment and expectation. Uchiha Itachi looked at Yi Fei and didn't know what to say. Okay, let's stop talking about this. Let's go find a place to celebrate. Uchiha Itachi looked at Yi Fei and said with a smile. Yi Fei nodded and smiled again. The two of them walked on the road and found a restaurant and walked in slowly. They were still very young, so they couldn't drink. They all ordered some juice. Today I celebrate your successful early graduation and you're becoming my teammate. Cheers. Cheers. The two of them sat in a corner of the restaurant, eating happily. At this moment, it seemed as if they had no worries at all, and it was completely their own world. Perhaps in the eyes of adults, they did not understand their friendship at all. They only knew that in each other's hearts, there was only each other. The two of them spent a long time eating, but most of the time was spent chatting. It seemed that they had not been so happy for a long time, and they had not spoken so freely for a long time. I am so happy today. I really hope we can grow up quickly so that we can drink. After dinner, the two of them slowly walked out of the restaurant and came to the street. The day was very short, and after dinner, it was gradually getting dark. Let's make a pact. Oh, what is it? After we are able to drink, let's taste what this wine tastes like. Then have a good drink. Okay, then we have a deal. I am looking forward to that day. The two stood on the side of the road and looked at each other and made an agreement. It was the first time that Yi Fei felt the importance of friends. The idol he had always admired before has now become the most important friend around him. Believe it or not, there is one person who will understand this feeling. After the two separated, they each returned home. The most important thing for them now is to prepare for the next Genin exam. A few days later, the two found each other again. Now is the time to register. They met and went to the registration office together and wrote down their names respectively. After learning the time of the exam, the two of them began training day by day. Although they are very confident in the exam, these trainings are also to consolidate their own strength. The exam will be on the third day after registration. Time flies so fast, and the exam is coming soon. After a calculation, it was almost time for the Third Ninja World War to end after the exam. Yi Fei sat in the yard of his home, looking at the evening sky. He was very lucky these days. Apart from the usual small tasks, there were no tasks that required him to travel far. This also allowed him to think carefully about the exam. Ah Fei. Miu Mu's voice suddenly came from the door. Yi Fei came back to his senses and saw Miu Mu standing at the door of his house. Miu Mu, why are you here? Yi Fei was a little excited, and then came to her and said. Of course I came to see you. It has been several days since we last met. I heard that you are going to take the Genin exam. Miu Mu said with a smile. Yi Fei nodded. He had been busy with the exam these days and forgot to tell Miu Mu about this important matter. That's great. I believe you will have no problem with your current strength. I will go to watch the game, don't let me down. Miu Mu made a very cute expression. Yi Fei's old face turned red, and he nodded with a kind smile. Maybe he was a little old, and seeing such a lowly-like girl, he couldn't resist it in his heart. Haha, don't worry, I won't let you down. I have also put in a lot of effort in the past few days, and I believe that it will be completed smoothly by then. Yi Fei scratched his head and said in a low voice. Miu Mu nodded. Have you had any missions recently? You look like you've been resting for a few days. Miu Mu suddenly asked at this time. Yi Fei nodded. Yes, there are no tasks now. Otherwise, I would not have signed up for it. And a while ago, a new member joined our team. This newcomer is Uchiha Itachi. Yi Fei suddenly remembered what happened a few days ago. From the Uchiha family, were you good friends with him before? It seems that your friends are also very capable. Miu Mu said with a smile and envy. No, actually we just met not long ago. But now we seem to have a very good relationship. In fact, it's true that we didn't know each other until we fought. If I hadn't fought him at that time, I don't think we would have become friends. Yi Fei said thoughtfully. Miu Mu nodded. The two walked to the yard together and found a place to sit down. I'm so sorry, I forgot to let you in just now. Don't you have to go to school today? Yi Fei asked curiously. No, and I don't have to go to school for the first few days. I will watch your exam then. Suddenly I remembered that my teacher praised me for becoming stronger recently. This is all thanks to you. I really want to thank you very much. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have changed so quickly. Miu Miu said with a very cute smile. Yi Fei shook his head gently. These are what I should do, and you yourself are very talented. In general, the greatest credit is your own. Both of them were very happy. Not only had their strength become stronger, but they were also beginning to develop in a good direction. However, Yi Fei was now very worried about what was going to happen in the near future. Those things were all devastating. It seems that I am not strong enough now, so I should hurry up and understand the situation in front of me. Genin exam, wait for me. Yi Fei thought silently while looking at the sky. The two of them sat together and talked for a long time, and they also talked about a lot of things. Yi Fei felt that he had not been so happy for a long time. Miu Miu now has Yi Fei's help, and her strength is getting stronger and stronger. I believe that she will be able to graduate from school soon. Miu Miu, don't relax during this period. You must be tense at all times. Doing so will also be of great benefit to you. Yi Fei looked at her and said with a smile. Miu Miu nodded. She knew this very well. If she became proud now, all her previous efforts would probably be in vain. Don't worry, I'm definitely not that kind of person. And I also believe that I can make a breakthrough quickly. Then we can go out to carry out the mission together. Miu Miu said happily. Yi Fei smiled and nodded. I believe that as long as we work hard together, we will succeed. By then, it will be our world. To be more precise, it should belong to our era. Yi Fei clenched his fist and looked at the sky and said confidently. Miu Miu's fighting spirit also ignited in his heart. Time passed little by little, and the sun gradually set. Well, it's getting late, let's hurry home. I'll take a good rest these days and try to pass the exam in one go. You must come when the time comes. Yi Fei stood up and said with a smile while looking at Miu Miu next to him. Miu Miu nodded. Don't worry, I will definitely go there when the time comes. And I also believe that you will succeed. With your strength, these are simply trivial matters. Come on, Miu Miu said with a smile. Yi Fei nodded with a smile. Then the two of them walked towards Miu Miu's home together. Since the first time they met, Yi Fei has never let Miu Miu go home alone. After all, how could such a beautiful girl be allowed to go home alone? There are still many people who have some bad ideas. The last time was a coincidence. If such an accident happens again in the future, and I don't show up in time, the consequences will be unimaginable. After sending people home, I slowly returned home. Today we chatted all day and didn't do anything else. Have a good rest for 2 days. The battle will begin on the 3rd day. I don't know what the exam will be about. Yi Fei came to the living room and sat down, looking ahead and thinking silently. Although he didn't know what the exam would be about, for him, these were all small problems. There was no need to worry at all. It might be because of the pressure of the exam before, and now he still felt a little scared when he thought about the exam. His own strength was completely good enough to enter the museum, but he still couldn't help but feel scared in his heart. Suddenly I remembered that the Genin exam seemed to be the easiest. If you put it this way, I suddenly feel a lot more relaxed. The exams are usually very basic, so why should I worry about it? Yi Fei seemed to be fine, leaning on the sofa very happily. Just now, he carefully recalled the anime he watched in his previous life. This also reminded him of the previous plot. The Genin exam can be said to be very simple. It can be completed by only taking a few items, and these items are the most basic and must be known. For Yi Fei, this is just like a child playing house. It is not worth mentioning at all. Why am I worried now? I suddenly feel much more relaxed. There are still 2 days left. Take advantage of these 2 days to have a good rest. After finishing the Genin exam, I will do another mission. Maybe I can continue to take the Chunin exam. Everyone else in the team is a Chunin. Yi Fei said thoughtfully. There is indeed nothing wrong with this. Everyone is a Chunin, and only himself and Uchiha Itachi are Genin. The most important thing is that the strength of the two of them is not weak at all. It seems that it is necessary to take the Chunin exam. It's decided then. I must pass the Chunin exam, otherwise I will be looked down upon by others. Yi Fei smiled. Even he himself did not expect this result. There is still 1 day left before the Genin exam. No, I think time goes by really fast. I have an exam tomorrow. Although I know the exam content is very simple, I am still afraid. It seems to be a sequelae from the previous school days. Yi Fei sat in his yard and patted his face and said in a low voice. This is not the first time for him. He had such a situation when he was in school before. Although he knew that there was no problem, he still had some resistance in his heart. Forget it, I don't need to stay at home. Let's go out for a walk to relax and distract ourselves. Yi Fei stood up, took some money and walked out of the house. Since he didn't bring enough money last time, he always took some money with him every time he went out. No matter whether he bought anything or not, he would always feel relieved when he had the money in his hands. It's so lively here. I think we'll have an exam tomorrow at the training ground. Why do you want to take the exam again? Look at my brain. Yi Fei said impatiently. He shook his head and continued to walk forward. Looking at the shops on both sides of the street, he became interested. He found that he had not shopped for a long time. He looked around to see if there was anything he liked. After observing for a few minutes, he did not gain anything. Although he looked like a child, he was already over 30 years old in his heart. Those toys were no longer what he needed. Can't there be something more novel? Alas, Yi Fei was somewhat frustrated, but he raised his foot and continued to walk forward. Selling Krabby Patties. Fresh crab burger. Suddenly, a shout reached Yi Fei's ears. Krabby Patties, how come this thing is suddenly sold? It's really quite rare. Let's go and have a look. Maybe you'll find something appetizing. Yi Fei turned around and began to look for his target. He soon found a small stall selling crab burgers on the right rear. And now there were several people gathered in front. Business seems to be pretty good. It seems to taste good. Take advantage of the fact that there are few people now and buy one to try. I haven't had any food for the past few days, how can I eat well? Yi Fei touched his hungry stomach and quickly came to the front. A very strong smell of crabs entered his nose. This smell instantly reminded him of the sea. The taste of the sea. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many people buying here. It seems that I'm lucky today. Yi Fei opened his eyes and said happily. Boss, give me 2. Yi Fei was at the end of the line, jumping and shouting. There were too many people in the line, so he had no choice but to wait in line. After more than 20 minutes, it was finally Yi Fei's turn. He told the boss how many he wanted and waited there. A few minutes later, 2 very large Krabby Patties appeared in Yi Fei's hands. He immediately went to a place where there was no one. It's really not easy. I waited for so long for 2 hamburgers. I have to say that many people now have their own unique way of making money. Yi Fei looked at the endless stream of stalls and said with some envy. But then, he shook his head and began to taste the crab-flavored burger. The seafood flavor burst out in one bite, and his mouth was full of satisfaction. It was all meat in one bite. This is really delicious. It may also be because I haven't had it for a few days, how can I eat well? So no matter what you eat now, it will taste delicious. Yi Fei said while eating and looking ahead. Now he feels very happy, living a carefree life, and very peaceful. After eating, Yi Fei walked forward aimlessly, not knowing where to go. I have an exam tomorrow, but I don't take the time to review and I'm still wandering around here. Sometimes I really admire myself. Yi Fei looked up at the sky and laughed a little. Suddenly someone rushed out and patted him on the shoulder. Ah Fei, why are you here? Yamamoto Shengchuan suddenly appeared in front of Yi Fei. Oh my god, you really scared me to death. Can't we just stop doing these fancy things? You always like to scare me. Yi Fei sighed and said in a low voice. Yamamoto Shengchuan smiled a little embarrassedly. No, I just want to go out for a walk. I have an exam tomorrow and I can't stay at home any longer. By the way, why are you here today? Don't you have to go to school? Yi Fei felt very confused and asked. So that's how it is. I'm on leave today. Otherwise, I would have to attend classes at school. I felt a little uncomfortable today, so I asked for leave. Yamamoto Kamikawa's lying skills really haven't improved at all. Yi Fei looked at him with some disbelief. Is that true? You seem to be in better shape than me. Tell me the truth, or I will make you pay. Yi Fei clenched his fists and threatened. Yamamoto Kamikawa confessed everything at once. Ah Fei, I actually took a day off today. But the specific reason for my leave is that I have something going on at home. I told you, but you are not very good at lying. It's better not to lie in the future. Otherwise, others will see it at a glance. The two patted each other's shoulders and smiled at each other. After a brief chat, they walked forward together. How is it? Are you confident now? I heard that the exam is not particularly difficult this time. And with your ability, there will definitely be no problem. Yamamoto Kamikawa said very confidently. Why do you suddenly feel like you're going to take an exam? It's okay, don't worry. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to come out at this time. To be honest, I really didn't take this exam seriously. Yi Fei said very confidently. Yamamoto Shengchuan smiled and nodded. This is the Ah Fei I know. I hope you pass the exam on your first try. And you will get first place. Don't forget to treat me to a meal when the time comes. No, it should be a celebration dinner. Yamamoto Kamikawa said with a smile. I didn't expect you were waiting for me here, okay, no problem. Who makes me the winner? I will treat you all to a meal at that time. Yi Fei said with a smile. How many of us? All of us, who is it? Yamamoto Kamikawa pointed at himself and asked in confusion. Miu Miu, Itachi, and you. Yi Fei said in a low voice with a smile on his face. Yamamoto Kamikawa was upset because he knew that Itachi was from the Uchiha family. But this person is not so easy to mess with. Since Yi Fei can become friends with him, it seems that what happened between them must be more than a little bit. Miu Miu himself also knows this person, he is quite good. And he looks very cute. Yamamoto, what's wrong? Is there any problem? Yi Fei waved his hand in front of Yamamoto Shengchuan's eyes. Nothing. It just took me by surprise. Yamamoto Kamikawa forced a smile and said. Don't worry, he is a very good person. Although he was born in the Uchiha family, his personality is still very different from others. I believe we can all become good friends. Yi Fei patted his shoulder and said with a smile. Yamamoto Shengchuan nodded half doubtfully. After all, this was the first time he encountered such a situation and he had no idea what to do. You should also seize the time to improve your strength. Miu Miu is also working hard to improve his own strength. Maybe in the future both of you can graduate early and join the Anbu. By then, we can be in the same team and go out on missions together. Yi Fei already had it in his mind that they would happily carry out missions together. No one would refuse this situation. Moreover, Yi Fei didn't have many friends. If these friends could always be by his side, it would be the happiest thing for him. Okay, no problem. Just wait for me, but now my strength is still very weak. I don't know when I can fight alongside you. Yamamoto Kamikawa was a little helpless. It's okay, I'm here, why are you afraid of this? Yi Fei saw that he was a little helpless, and then patted his shoulder to encourage him. He usually didn't have anything to do, so he might as well seize the time to train them. In this way, their strength can be improved faster. It doesn't matter, there's plenty of time anyway. And I will be very confident with you around, and you can also guide me when the time comes. I believe that under your guidance, my ability will definitely improve by leaps and bounds. Yamamoto Kamikawa's mood gradually improved. Well, let's not talk too much. Why don't we go for a walk? It's still early anyway. I have an exam tomorrow, so I should relax. Yi Fei looked into the distance. Yamamoto Kamikawa nodded, raised his feet, and the two of them walked forward together. The two of them walked until they came to a very quiet place. After looking around and finding no one, they found a place to sit down. Ah Fei, do you plan to stay in the Anbu from now on? Don't you have any other plans? Yamamoto Kamikawa asked in advance. Yi Fei shook his head gently. This is the current plan, but I don't know if there will be other changes in the future. In fact, this kind of life is pretty good. When there is no mission, I just stay at home. If possible, I would like to stay here forever. Yi Fei sighed and said in a low voice. Yamamoto Shengchuan nodded. It's better to have a plan. I feel embarrassed now. Although I am still in school, I have to think about my future. Obviously, I have no direction at all now, and I don't know what to do in the future. Yamamoto Kamikawa said weakly. Yifei himself is the same. Although what he just said makes sense. But in his heart, he doesn't know where to go. But at least he has something to do now. It's okay, maybe we'll have a direction by then. My goal now is to finish the exam as soon as possible. Maybe after this exam, I will have to take the Chunin exam again. Yifei looked at him and said with a smile. After saying these words, I don't know why I felt that I was particularly Versailles. Ah Fei, I don't know why, but I always feel like you're kind of laughing at me. You obviously have a lot of things to do, but you still pretend to be inexperienced. Yamamoto Kamikawa looked at him with disdain. Yifei also smiled awkwardly without saying anything. The two looked at each other and smiled at the same time. Just like that, they sat here and chatted for another day. Although it felt like killing time, they understood a lot of things. In the evening, the two of them separated and returned home. After Yifei returned home, he began to organize his equipment. The exam will be tomorrow, and he doesn't know what the exam questions will be. He organized everything just in case. Finally I have sorted it out, and before I knew it I had sorted out a lot of things. I don't know what the exam topic will be tomorrow. This is often the time when I feel the most anxious. Forget it, don't think too much, anyway, I will definitely pass. Yifei sat on the bed with his eyes blankly looking forward. The exam is tomorrow, although he knows that he will definitely pass. But the pressure of the exam is still there. This may also be the fear of being dominated by the exam. Let's go early tomorrow and report at 8 o'clock. There should be plenty of time. Yifei looked at the time and said. In order to be in good condition tomorrow, he decided to go to bed early. If he didn't sleep, he would just sit here in a daze. There was nothing to kill his time. After washing up and lying on the bed, he kept thinking about what would happen in the future. Although he knew that he would definitely get through it safely, he felt vaguely uneasy. Thinking about it, he fell asleep. He got up at 7 o'clock the next day. Today was also the day of his exam. He got up and had a meal, and took the things he had packed with him. He walked out of the house and walked towards the training ground. Itachi, you're here quite early. Yifei was walking on the road and met Uchiha Itachi. Yifei, I didn't expect you to come at this time. Let's go, let's take the exam together. Uchiha Itachi looked at him and said. His face was still very calm, without any twists and turns. Yifei nodded, then walked to his side with a smile on his face. How are you nervous? Not nervous. Yifei turned his head and looked at him and asked. There is no need to be nervous. Anyway, I can definitely pass the exam with my ability. But I still don't know the content of the exam. Uchiha Itachi shook his head and said calmly. It's really Itachi God. No matter what happens, he won't panic. It seems that I have to learn from his state. Yifei thought to himself as he looked at Uchiha Itachi with an expressionless face. The two did not say anything else and went directly to the examination venue. There were not many people taking the exam today, and most of them were strangers. They came to the registration office together and said their names. At this time, they learned the content of today's exam from the examiner. But the content of the last exam has not been announced yet. It is said that it will be known after the exam begins. It seems that there must be something unusual, otherwise it would not be done this way. I'm really getting more and more nervous. I always feel very uneasy now. Although I already know a lot of projects, I really can't guess what the last one is. They have been keeping us on suspense, and they can really come up with something. Yifei sat in the preparation area and frowned as he said, there was only one project that they hadn't told them, and they really wanted to know it. But they would only know what the test would be when the time came, which was an extremely difficult process for them. Forget it, what's the use of knowing it? It's better to sit here and wait for a while. Anyway, it doesn't make any difference to us. Uchiha Itachi turned his head and looked at Yifei and said in a low voice. Yifei nodded helplessly. Now the seats for the two of them were full of people. These were all here to take the exam. The other venues were full of spectators, including friends who were taking the exam and their families. Miu Miu and Yamamoto Shengchuan bought some things and then sat in the audience. Now they couldn't see Yi Fei yet. Ah Fei, I don't know which scene it was. Where is he now? Miu Miu looked around but couldn't find him. Don't worry, they will be out soon. They should be in the rest area now, nothing will happen anyway. We all know his strength. There is no need to worry. Yamamoto Shengchuan said indifferently. Miu Miu nodded, knowing that this must be the case. But this was her first time in such a place, so she must be a little excited. I really didn't expect this place to be so big. I wonder if we will come here for exams in the future. Miu Miu asked curiously. Yamamoto. Kamikawa shook his head obviously. Yi Fei sat in the rest area, closed his eyes and tried to calm himself down. How long do I have to wait? This is really annoying. Yi Fei closed his eyes, frowned, and thought silently. Amid the cheers outside, the examiner slowly walked into the examination room. He was preparing for the exam. If nothing goes wrong, the exam will start in 2 or 3 minutes. It's almost time, it should start soon. Uchiha Itachi turned his head and looked at Yi Fei and said in a low voice. Yi Fei suddenly became energetic and very happy, as if he was relaxed a lot. It was not a good idea to wait there all the time. He stood up immediately and started to walk around. Okay, let yourself take the time to relax. I am really looking forward to it. This is my first time taking the exam. I hope to get a very good result, but of course, I can't go too far. Yi Fei suddenly said with some embarrassment. Yi Fei, I have decided that this time it is not just an exam. I also want to challenge you. Let's see who ranks higher between the two of us in the end. How about it? Do you want to accept it? Uchiha Itachi suddenly thought of it and stood up and said very seriously. Yi Fei looked at the young man in front of him and smiled helplessly. This was originally an exam, but he didn't expect to give him a chance. Option A. Agree to him and win first place. Completion reward. Thunder Escape Heavenly Dragnet Reformed. Option B. Reject him. Completion reward. -1 friendship value with Uchiha Itachi. The system's voice suddenly sounded in his mind. Looking at the two options in his mind, even a fool would know which one is better. Moreover, these ninjutsu are not in the original work, so they must be special. As long as you can have these, it will definitely greatly increase your strength. It's you. Yi Fei chose option A without hesitation. Okay, no problem, I promise. Then I will give you a good lesson for free. Yi Fei said with a very proud smile. After hearing this reply, Uchiha Itachi also showed a long-lost smile. I'm looking forward to it. After that, the two of them came to the entrance. At this time, they couldn't wait to start the exam. They had to hurry up and finish the exam and leave this place. More importantly, they wanted to see who ranked first. It feels like it's about to begin. Wait a moment, you must be good, and don't let me down with your performance. Yi Fei turned his head and looked at Uchiha Itachi, smiling. Don't worry, don't let me down, but don't let me down. If I knew, I would definitely make you suffer. Uchiha Itachi said with a smile. Yi Fei nodded. Although his strength was above his, if they fought desperately, it was hard to say who would win. Everyone has their own unique place. I don't know if being friends with Itachi is a good thing or a bad thing. It seems that we will know it later. Yi Fei looked at Uchiha Itachi through his peripheral vision, thinking silently in his heart. Until now, he didn't know whether everything he did was right. Even if it was not right, there was no way, he couldn't go against his own wishes. The exam begins. Number 1. The examiner's voice suddenly reached everyone's ears. A person holding a number 1 sign slowly walked to the center of the venue. He greeted them very politely and then came to the side. Everyone had their own exam order, but they were all tested on the same items. It's finally started. My number is 19. I don't know when it will be my turn. Yi Fei looked at the number in his hand and felt a little frustrated. The ranking was really too far behind. I'm really sorry. Uchiha Itachi shook the number 5 in his hand and said proudly. Oh my god, no way. Is my luck so good? Yi Fei was even more frustrated than before. Uchiha Itachi patted Yi Fei on the shoulder and told him to hold on. It's a good time to take a good rest. Stand here and watch me perform. I will not let you down. Yi Fei clenched his fists. His number was at the back and there was no way to change it. He could only stand here and wait. This period of time was also very painful. Candidate number 4 is on stage. The examiner continued to shout loudly. The candidates who were called came to the examination venue one by one. Their strength was also mediocre, without any highlights. It looks like the top 2 spots are ours this time. I don't know if there are any stronger ones behind. I feel like there aren't any. Yi Fei looked at the people waiting behind him nonchalantly. Okay, I won't stay here with you. It's my turn. Uchiha Itachi said in a low voice, and then disappeared in an instant. Yi Fei curled his lips. Really, I will definitely teach you a good lesson today. Number 5. Uchiha Itachi came to the examination venue with his number. Yi Fei stood there and kept looking at him. Let me see if your strength has increased. It's been so long, you must not let me down. Yi Fei clasped his hands together, then said softly with a smile on his face. Yi Fei was also very much looking forward to this genius. Uchiha Itachi was ready, looking at the target in front of him, the machine that tested his strength, etc. Start. At the examiner's command, Uchiha Itachi began his action. It's him, the genius of the Uchiha family. Yamamoto Kamikawa, who was sitting in the audience, immediately saw Uchiha Itachi. He frowned slightly and stared at him. Yamamoto, what's wrong? Miu Miu turned around and looked at him while eating. It's nothing, I just saw an acquaintance. Yamamoto Shengchuan hurriedly explained. Miu Miu didn't care too much, continued eating, and looked at the examination venue. This person is really strong. And he is not much different from Ah Fei in every aspect. I just don't know how he is in actual combat. Miu Miu ate while watching Uchiha Itachi who was being tested. Yamamoto Kamikawa did not continue to speak, but focused on watching Uchiha Itachi's next operation. Uchiha Itachi's series of operations made the entire audience quieter. There were no unnecessary movements, and there were no flaws. Even the seals were very fast. Such proficiency, for a child, would be hard to believe if you didn't see it with your own eyes. So amazing. The Uchiha family is so awesome. Wow. The audience suddenly became lively, and most of them were girls. Uchiha Itachi didn't take them seriously at all. He looked up at Yi Fei above, stretched out his finger and hooked. Oh my god, you are blatantly challenging me. It seems that it is time to let you know what a genius is. The influence is still good, I wonder what will happen to me in a while. Yi Fei said with a smile. The current ranking is No. 5 Uchiha Itachi with 98 points, ranking first. The examiner came out, holding the ranking book and shouted loudly at the bottom. Holy shit, 98 points, that's incredible. Is this a genius? The gap between us is huge. It's amazing. When the rankings and results came out, many people went crazy, and many girls were already obsessed with it. My god, what are these people doing here? So crazy. Miu Miu looked around and felt very incredible. Then, one after another, the exams began. How is it? Are you stronger than before? Uchiha Itachi returned to Yi Fei's side and asked with a smile. Yi Fei curled his lips and nodded gently. This is indeed the fact, there is no way to deny it. I didn't expect your strength to improve so quickly. You must have put in a lot of effort at home. Keep working hard, come on. But if you want to keep up with me, you still have a way to go. Yi Fei looked at Uchiha Itachi and said with a smile. Uchiha Itachi was a little unconvinced after hearing what he just said. But there was no way for them to compete at this time. They could only go by grades and rankings. Obviously, the final result was unknown now. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.